Ooh.
In case of emergency, this is the plenary hall exit plan. For guests situated at the rostrum, the nearest exits are at the north and south rostrum. For occupants at the first floor and front rows of the VIP gallery, the north, south, and main entrance exits are available. For occupants at the VIP gallery, the main entrance and north and south VIP exits are available. For occupants at the second floor gallery, there are exits available at both sides. For occupants at the third floor gallery, there are available exits at the east and west sides. In case of emergency, this is the plenary hall exit plan. For guests situated at the rostrum, the nearest exits are at the north and south rostrum. For occupants at the first floor and front rows of the VIP gallery, the north, south, and main entrance exits are available. For occupants at the VIP gallery, the main entrance and north and south VIP exits are available. For occupants at the second floor gallery, there are exits available at both sides. For occupants at the third floor gallery, there are available exits at the east and west sides.
Arab muna, no? Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to take up additional reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications for referral to the proper committee.
The Secretary General is hereby directed.
Additional reference of business, bills on first reading. House Bill 3409, establishing a comprehensive system for the registration and licensing of social welfare and development agencies and accreditation of social welfare and development programs and services by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Social Services.
House Bill 3410, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of SOGI by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 3411, establishing a public veterinary clinic in every city and municipality by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 3412, establishing the Women's Health Research Center by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 3413, establishing a refuge and assistance center for young pregnant women in every province, city, and municipality of the Philippines by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 3414, establishing a DSWD regional warehouse in every region of the country by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Social Services.
House Bill 3415, providing for the Magna Carta of the out-of-school youth by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 3416, enhancing the discount on the purchase of goods and services of senior citizens and PWDs by Representative Owano Dizon.
To the Committee on Ways and Means, the Committee on Senior Citizens, and the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 3417, establishing the private basic education voucher program by Representative Owano Dizon.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 3418, strengthening the Philippine healthcare system to achieve efficiency and equity by Representative Owano Dizon.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 3419, providing for additional support and compensation for teachers and non-teaching personnel in basic education by Representative Hernandez Ferdinand.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 3420, prohibiting online gambling, penalizing the placing of wagers or bets through the internet or any form of online gambling activities by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Games and Amusements.
House Bill 3421, to reform the basic education curriculum by Representatives Co Eliza and Co Antonio.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 3422, establishing the Magna Carta for media workers by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 3423, creating the Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources and the Fisheries Commission by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources and the Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill 3424, establishing the National Framework for Water Resource Management and creating the Department of Water Resources and the Water Regulatory Commission by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways and the Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill 3425, prohibiting the malicious creation, distribution, and use of deepfake technology by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 3426, adopting a 30-year national infrastructure program by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 3427, creating 3 additional branches of the Regional Trial Court in the 4th Judicial Region to be stationed in General Trias, Cavite by Representative Ferrer Antonio.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 3428, providing for a 5-year validity period of the professional identification cards of all professionals under the PRC by Representative Roque.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 3429, to further promote the general welfare and enhance the statutory benefits and incentives of public health workers by Representative Alba.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 3430, establishing an educational scholarship program for immediate dependents of OFWs, both sea-based and land-based, who died or suffered permanent disabilities while working abroad or overseas by Representative Remulla.
To the Committee on Overseas Workers and Affairs.
House Bill 3431, establishing the Philippine Virtual Library by Representative Remulla.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 3432, encouraging youth sector participation in the agricultural sector by Representative Remulla.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 3433, providing for tax exemptions and subsidies for the local music industry by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3434, strengthening the healthcare system in cultural and indigenous communities by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Health and the Committee on Indigenous Cultural Communities and Indigenous Peoples,
House Bill 3435, strengthening the digital transformation capacity of all LGUs by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Local Government and the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill 3436, providing a mechanism for the equitable access to and ownership of public lands by farmers and fisherfolk by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill 3437, amending the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997 by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Indigenous Cultural Communities and Indigenous People,
House Bill 3438, incorporating the value of responsible, fair, and truthful usage and enjoyment of social media in schools and universities by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 3439, requiring land, air, and sea transport providers to provide priority seating for the elderly by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Senior Citizens,
House Bill 3440, expanding and institutionalizing the Philippine National Games by Representative Gomez.
to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Bill 3441, declaring certain parcels of land of the public domain located in certain barangays in Quezon, Palawan as agricultural land and open to disposition for agricultural, commercial, residential, industrial, and other productive purposes by Representatives Alvarez Jose and Acosta.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill 3442, to improve the quality of beaches and coastal recreation water by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Ecology,
House Bill 3443, providing for the establishment of a digital prison record system by the Bucor and the BJMP by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 3444, mandating the installation of gray water treatment systems in buildings and imposing penalties for violations thereof by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Ecology,
House Bill 3445, establishing ICT as hubs nationwide by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill 3446, prohibiting producers and manufacturers of baby food products from including added sugars on their products by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3447, upgrading the minimum salaries of public school teachers to salary grade 15, teaching personnel in higher education to salary grade 16, and of non-teaching personnel to 16,000 pesos by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill 3448, amending the grounds for legal separation under Article 55 of the Family Code of the Philippines by Representatives Revilla Ramonjolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
to the Committee on Population and Family Relations,
House Bill 3449, prohibiting online gambling, penalizing the placing of wagers of bets through the internet or any form of online gambling activities by Representative Briones.
to the Committee on Games and Amusement,
House Bill 3450, strengthening the conditional cash transfer to poor households by Representatives Garcia Dante and Tereng.
to the Committee on Poverty Alleviation,
House Bill 3451, mandating the submission of a tree planting plan as a requirement in the application for building permits by Representatives Garcia Dante and Tereng.
to the Special Committee on Reforestation,
House Bill 3452, providing mechanisms that shall ensure the effective implementation of the Arbor Day Act of 2012 by Representatives Garcia Dante and Tereng.
to the Special Committee on Reforestation,
House Bill 3453, expanding the coverage of the tertiary education subsidy by Representatives Garcia Dante and Tereng.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill 3454, separating the territorial jurisdiction of the MCTC Branch 14 of Dawis, Panglao, creating individual MTCs for Dawis and Panglao in the 7th Judicial Region, Province of Bohol, by Representative Yap John Gisnell.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill 3455, further strengthening the Barangay Micro Business Enterprises Program and amending the Barangay Micro Business Enterprises Act of 2002 by Representative Galang.
to the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development,
House Bill 3456, mandating the installation and use of decorative solar streetlights in the province of Palawan by Representative Salvame.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill 3457, establishing TESDA Training and Assessment Center in Taytay, Palawan by Representative Salvame.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 3458, to institute policies and systems to address climate change by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell and Tulfo Jocelyn.
To the Committee on Climate Change.
House Bill 3459, establishing regional branches of specialty hospitals such as the Philippine Heart Center, National Kidney and Transplant Institute, Lung Center of the Philippines, Philippine Children's Medical Center, and Philippine Cancer Center by Representatives Tulfo Ralph Wendell and Tulfo Jocelyn.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 3460, changing the name of the province of Southern Leyte to Leyte del Sur by Representative Mercado.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 3461, promoting equal opportunity for local leadership in local government units by Representative Alba.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 3462, promoting the development and regulation of artificial intelligence in the Philippines by Representative Plato.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 3463, establishing TESDA Training and Assessment Centers in the municipalities of Cataingan, Kawayan, Dimasalang, Esperanza, Palanas, POV Corpus, Placer, and Uson, all in the province of Masbate by Representative Co. Wilton.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 3464, further promoting the welfare of public school teachers by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 3465, exempting all components of the electricity bill from value-added tax by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill 3466, establishing the Bureau of Agricultural Cooperative and Industry Development by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 3467, establishing a voucher system for poor and academically qualified students of private higher education institutions and private technical vocational institutions by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 3468, incorporating the BHWs in the Human Resource for Health Deployment Program of the DOH by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 3469, providing free tertiary education in agriculture, fisheries, and related fields for qualified indigent farmers, fisherfolk, and their dependents by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 3470, further promoting the welfare of the local farmers by amending the Agricultural Tariffication Act by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 3471, establishing the National Agri-Fair Price Authority, a government-owned and controlled corporation to purchase agricultural products at fair market value and operate government supermarkets to ensure food security and affordable prices by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
House Bill 3472, ensuring the integrity and resilience of online information by deterring all forms of online falsehoods and disinformation by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Bill 3473, establishing tourism circuits in the 2nd District of Samar by Representative Tan Reynolds Michael.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill 3474, providing for the rehabilitation and upgrade of Calbigaru into a super health center in Calbiga, Samar, under the direct supervision and control of the DOH by Representative Tan Reynolds Michael.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 3475, institutionalizing the transition of the government to e-governance in the digital age by Representative Rama.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 3476, establishing the Disability Support Allowance Program for PWDs by Representative San Fernando.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 3477, establishing a College of Medicine in the PUP Quezon City Campus, Metro Manila, by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 3478, enhancing the continuing professional development of Filipino professionals as an integral component of career progression and specialization programs, by Representative San Fernando.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education and the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 3479, establishing the National Framework for Water Resource Management, by Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways and the Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill 3480, establishing a legal framework for the responsible and accountable use of artificial intelligence in the Philippines, by Representative Padiernos.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 3481, replacing the term persons with disabilities, PWDs, to people of determination, POD, in all applicable statutes, rules, and government communications, by Representative Delmar.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 3482, providing for the Magna Carta of BHWs, by Representative Mastura.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 3483, providing better services to Muslim Filipino pilgrims through privatization of the annual Hajj pilgrimage, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Muslim Affairs,
House Bill 3484, expanding employment opportunities for senior citizens and providing for additional incentives to private entities, by Representative
to the
Mastura.
Committee on Senior Citizens,
House Bill 3485, mandating the allotment of a prayer room for Muslims in every government building, military camp, hotel, hospital, mall, factory, and other business establishments, public or private, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Muslim Affairs,
House Bill 3486, providing equitable access to public cemeteries for Muslim Filipinos, indigenous peoples, and other denominations, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3487, providing for a free annual medical checkup for Filipinos, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3488, declaring the immediate environs of Sultan Haj Hassan al-Bolkiah Masjid, also known as the Grand Mosque of Cotabato, located in Barangay Kalangan, Cotabato City, as tourism destination, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Tourism,
House Bill 3489, upgrading the MSU Maguindanao Infirmary Facility into a Level 3 hospital to be known as the Mindanao State University Maguindanao Hospital, Province of Maguindanao del Norte, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3490, establishing special economic zones in Maguindanao del Norte and Cotabato City, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs and the Committee on Trade and Industry,
House Bill 3491, separating the city of Cotabato from the lone legislative district of the province of Maguindanao del Norte to constitute the lone legislative district of the city of Cotabato, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3492, increasing the bed capacity of the Cotabato Regional and Medical Center in the city of Cotabato, province of Maguindanao del Norte, from 600 to 1,000 beds, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3490, creating a district engineering office in the lone legislative district of the province of Maguindanao del Norte, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill numbers 3494, 3495, and 3496, upgrading certain district hospitals in Maguindanao del Norte into a Level 2 district hospital, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3497, upgrading the Cotabato Sanitarium and General Hospital in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao del Norte into a Level 3 hospital, by Representative Mastura.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3498, upgrading the district office of the LTO in San Luis Aurora from a Class D to a Class B district office, by Representative Angara.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 3499, prescribing the standard investigation procedure during traffic accidents, by Representative Amante.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill 3500, granting monthly honorarium, civil service eligibility, and security of tenure to every barangay nutrition scholar, by Representative Amante.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3501, renationalizing Aliosan District Hospital located in Almordian, Iloilo, placing under the direct control, management, and supervision of the DOH, by Representative Goriseta.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill 3502, granting relief to financially distressed employees by providing exemption from taxes on separation pay, back wages, and other remuneration or benefits of all illegally dismissed or suspended workers, by Representative Mendoza.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill 3503, declaring the month of April of every year as the Philippine Veterans Month, by Representative Mendoza.
to the Committee on Veteran Affairs and Welfare,
House Bill 3504, creating a barangay in Socorro, Surigao del Norte to be known as Barangay Kapihan, by Representative Matugas.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3505, increasing the benefits of barangay officials, by Representative Bocobo.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 3506, prohibiting all forms of advertising on online gambling, by Representative Bocobo.
to the Committee on Games and Amusements,
House Bill 3507, establishing the 4-piece transition and empowerment program for beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, by Representatives Libanan and Abalos.
to the Committee on Poverty Alleviation,
Resolutions. House Resolution 126, directing the appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry on the ongoing normalization process component of the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro between the MILF and the Government of the Philippines to identify gaps that impede the progress of the peace process and determine effectual mechanisms towards sustainable peace and reconciliation, by Representative San Fernando.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 127, directing the DBM and the DOH to ensure that the health emergency allowance of health workers during the COVID-19 pandemic is fully paid, to determine the total amount of unpaid benefits, and to ensure that such amount is included in the budget for the current year, and requesting the House Committee on Appropriations to ensure that such issues are considered in the budget hearings of these agencies, by Representative Salceda.
to the Committee on Health,
House Resolution 128, directing the House Committee on Agriculture and Food and the House Special Committee on Food Security to conduct an inquiry on how the Rice Farmer Financial Assistance Program can be expanded to help reduce the country's dependence on imported rice and protect national food security, by Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 129, urging the House of Representatives to support the immediate relocation of the 11th Regional Community Defense Group from the grounds of the University of the Philippines, Mindanao, and to stand against all maneuvers to militarize the academic spaces of higher education institutions, by Representatives Co. Rene Luis and Tino.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Resolution 130, calling for an investigation by the appropriate committee of the House on the immediate increase in the most favored nation tariff rates on imported rice modified by Executive Order Number 62, Series of 2024, by Representative Briones.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 131, directing the Committee on Tourism and the Committee on Labor and Employment to conduct a joint inquiry on the proliferation of foreign tour guides and operators in the province of Bohol, by Representative Yap John G. Snell.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 132, expressing the profound sympathy and condolences of the House to the family of the late Vice Mayor Julio Estolioso of Ibahay, Aklan, and condemning in the strongest terms his senseless and cowardly killing by an elected official, by Representatives Miraflores.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 133, calling for immediate ratification by the Philippine government of International Labor Convention Number 188, otherwise known as Work in Fishing Convention 2007, by Representative Mendoza.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Resolution 134, urging the Committee on Human Rights to conduct an investigation on the militarization of peasant, fisherfolk, and indigenous communities in Ilocos and Cordillera and its resulting human rights and international humanitarian law violations, by Representatives Tino and Co. Rene Luis.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 135, urging the Committee on Human Rights to immediately conduct an investigation on the grave human rights violations allegedly committed by state security forces in the southern Luzon provinces of Mindoro, Quezon, and Rizal during the International Humanitarian Law Month, by Representatives Tino and
To
Co.
the
Rene
Committee on
Luis.
Rules.
House Resolution 136, urging the House through the Committee on Human Rights to immediately conduct an investigation on the brutal massacre of the Fausto family in Malayan City, Negros Occidental, allegedly committed by the 94th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army, by Representatives Tino and Co. Rene Luis.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 137, urging the Committee on Human Rights to conduct an investigation on the militarization of peasant communities in Negros and its resulting human rights and international humanitarian law violations, by Representatives Tino and Co. Rene Luis.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 138, expressing the great pride and joy of Filipinos in Kayla Napolis for bagging the silver medal in the 52-kilogram division in Women's Jiu-Jitsu Niwaza event in the 2025 World Games held in Chengdu, China, by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 139, congratulating and commending gold medalist John Gabriel Opresio of the Philippines for winning in the 11th Iraq Taekwondo International Tournament in 2025, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 140, to honor and commend climate champion, environmental management expert Amelia Dulce Baby Supetran on her dedication in addressing the Philippines climate crisis, by Representative Veloso Tuazon.
To the Committee on Climate Change.
House Resolution 141, congratulating and commending Joy Mayan Barcoma of Bacoor City, Cavite for being crowned Miss Philippines Earth 2025 on August 10, 2025 at Tocada, Manila, Parañaque City, by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramonjolo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 142, directing the Committees on Health, Dangerous Drugs, Trade and Industry, and Youth and Sports Development to conduct an inquiry on the reported use, unregulated trade, and possible smuggling of the tobacco product known as tuaklao or tuklao, by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramonjolo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 143, urging the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms to conduct an inquiry to address the unresolved and uncovered issues in the 19th Congress investigation on the highly irregular increase of the number of newly registered voters in Barangay Carmen City of Cagayan de Oro Province of Misamis Oriental, by Representative Suwan.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 144, institutionalizing the Congressional Assistance Response and Education Program as a strategic initiative to modernize and enhance the institutional capacity of the House, by Representative Marcos.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 145, authorizing the Committees on Public Accounts, Public Works and Highways, and Good Government and Public Accountability to conduct a joint inquiry on the implementation of infrastructure projects, particularly flood control projects undertaken by the DPWH and other related agencies, by Representative Ridon.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 146, adopting and implementing environmental sustainability policies for the internal operation and administration of the House, by Representatives Marcos, Romualdez Yadamari, and Zamora Maria Carmen.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Concurrent Resolution 5, strengthening the national budget process by adopting and enforcing transparency and accountability measures to ensure public access to information and allow public participation in the deliberations of the 2026 General Appropriations Act by Representatives Gatchalian, Gonzalez Roy, Santos Mark Anthony, Oreta, Yatco, Galang, Salvacion, and San Fernando.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communication. Report dated August 7, 2025 of the Secretary General, House of Representatives on copies of the following enrolled bills which were returned to the Senate on August 6, 2025 and to be transmitted to the Office of the President for His Excellency's consideration and signature pursuant to Section 18H, Rule 6 of the Rules of the House as follows. Senate Bill 1273 and House Bill 11461, providing equal access to public cemeteries for Muslim Filipinos, indigenous peoples, and other denominations. Senate Bill 2969 and House Bill 10403, declaring the Philippine State College of Aeronautics as a national professional institution for aviation, renaming it the National Aviation Academy of the Philippines, and consolidated version of Senate Bill 2898 and House Bill 10755, liberalizing the lease of private lands by foreign investors, establishing the stability of long-term lease contracts.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the guests of Representative Agata Paula E. Cruz from 5th District of Bulacan. They are a secondary student composed of 42 number of students from Municipality of Giginto.
To the guests of the Honorable Attorney Agatha Paulo Cruz, the future of our nation, and our students, welcome to the House of the People.
Madam Speaker, may we also acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Representative from the Lone District of Navotas City, Honorable Toby M. Chanco. They are the Navotas City youth officials who are celebrating and observing our session as part of their Linggo ng Week Kabataan Sunday.
To the Navotas City youth officials, the guests of the Honorable Toby Chanco, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we may acknowledge the presence of guests in the gallery. We have the guests of Honorable Representative Jonathan Keith Flores and Representative Arlene Ayon of Suerte Party List. They are the ultimate Frisbee athletes from the province of Bukidnon who will be competing in the 2025 Asian Oceanic Ultimate Championships in Japan and the 2025 Southeast Asian Games in Thailand. They are Yvonne Lamigo, Mark April Gil Butil, Frey Sotelo.
To the athletes and their coach, guests of the Honorable Jonathan Keith Flores and the Honorable Arlene Ayon of Party List Suerte, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we may acknowledge the presence of the guests of Honorable Representative Dimzar Sali of Lone District of Tawi-Tawi. He is Councilor Jammar Muhammad Antam of the Municipality of Tandubas, Province of Tawi-Tawi.
To the Honorable Antam, the guests of the Honorable Dimzar Sali, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader. May isa pa?
Madam Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the FPJ youth from the district of Congressman Brian Poe. And they are from national and local officers and members. J. Lizar De La Rosa, the National Director for Membership. Casey Carriazo, President of Manila Chapter. Charmaine Laguidao, Secretary of Manila Chapter. Joy de los Reyes, Secretary of Caloocan Chapter. LJ Celestino, Member of Caloocan Chapter. Ernesto Gonzalez III, Member of Caloocan Chapter. James Estela, Vice President of Rizal Chapter. Yuki James Santos, Secretary of Rizal Chapter. Camille Magyaya, Secretary of Quezon City Chapter. Emil Benedict Peladio, Officer Malabon Chapter. Pao Taguba, Vice President of Quezon City Chapter.
To the national and local officers and members of FPJ Youth, the guests of the Honorable Brian Poe of FPJ Panday Bayanihan Party List, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, may I request to recognize the guests of Honorable Timothy Joseph Tim Cayton, Vice Governor Eupenia Dacayo of the Province of Nueva Vizcaya, Mayor Dolores Binuag of the Municipality of Quezon, the Province of Nueva Vizcaya, Mayor Liwayway Karamat of Municipality of Santa Fe, the Province of Nueva Vizcaya, and LGU staff, Kenneth Baclig, Mark Stanley Dakanay.
To the honored guests and our officials from the province of Nueva Vizcaya, as well as the municipality of Quezon of the province of Nueva Vizcaya, the guests of the Honorable Attorney Timothy Joseph Tim Cayton of the Lone District of Nueva Vizcaya, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to resume privilege hour.
Any objection? Hearing none, the privilege hour is hereby resumed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from Party List FPJ Panday Bayanihan, Representative Brian Poe, to avail of the privilege hour.
The Honorable Brian Poe of Party List FPJ Panday Bayanihan is hereby recognized to talk about the state of out-of-school youth in the Philippines. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen of the House. I rise today to deliver a privileged speech that is not a mere formality, but an urgent call to action, a call that demands our undivided attention and unwavering commitment. It speaks to nothing less than the foundation of our country's future, the state of the Filipino youth. For far too long, the youth have been in the background of the national narrative, whose ideas, dreams, and opinions often seem secondary. Today, I stand here to declare with both urgency and resolve that our youth development system is in crisis, and that our youth, the very heart of our future, is dangerously at risk. The Philippines today has the largest generation of young people in its history. 30 million Filipinos between the ages of 10 and 24, accounting for 28% of our population. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, this number is expected to remain nearly unchanged until 2055. These figures, coupled with reports from UNICEF and the UNDP, present both a promise and a warning. We stand on the brink of reaping a demographic dividend. The surge of economic growth fueled by a large, well-educated, and productively employed young population, But without quality education and strategic investments, this advantage will slip through our fingers. The symptoms of the crisis are already clear. In 2024, the World Risk Index named the Philippines the most disaster-prone country in the world, a vulnerability that falls hardest on our youth today. They did not cause climate change, and yet they will inherit the consequences of climate change. Our labor force survey and PSA data from 2022 show that 15.4% of young women and 10.1% of young men aged 15 to 24 do not have an education, are unemployed, and they don't have proper training. For many young women, early marriage remains a formidable barrier. And this formidable barrier hinders their continuing education. While it is encouraging that the portion of women aged 20 to 24 who were married before 18 has fallen from 16.5% in 2017 to just 9.4% in 2022, the fact of the matter is this challenge still remains. This crisis is not only about who is out of school, but it is also about what happens inside our classrooms. Participation in early childhood education remains limited, with only 22% of 3 to 4-year-old children enrolled according to the Functional Literacy, Educational, and Mass Media Survey. Foundational skills are alarmingly weak. The Southeast Asia Primary Learning Metrics 2019 shows that 10% of grade 5 students reach minimum proficiency in reading and 17% in mathematics. Social and emotional challenges also exist and are widespread, with 65% of Filipino 15-year-olds reporting experiences of bullying a few times each month. PISA assessments also consistently place Filipino students among the lowest in reading, mathematics, and science. This is more than a learning gap. This is a learning crisis, threatening to hobble an entire generation. The COVID-19 pandemic made matters worse, as prolonged school closures led to Filipino students losing an estimated 61% of their schooling years. Madam Speaker, our education crisis does not end in the classroom door. It follows our young people into the workplace. What begins as gaps in learning too often becomes lifelong skills mismatch, limiting both individual opportunity and our nation's competitiveness. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies warns that outdated curricula, insufficient training, and the rapid pace of technological change have left too many young Filipinos unprepared for the jobs of today, let alone the jobs of tomorrow. Sectors such as IT, manufacturing, and advanced services demand analytical, technical, and digital skills. Yet we continue to graduate thousands who have never been given the tools to thrive in these fields. The results are stark. 6 in 10 Filipino workers remain in elementary or agricultural occupations, while nearly 1/3 lack the qualifications for the jobs they already hold. This is not simply a workforce problem. It is the direct product of an education system that has failed to align with labor market realities. Even when jobs exist, barriers continue to remain. Young people tell us that the high cost of retraining, of programs that do not match industry needs, and of time constraints basically make skills building nearly impossible. The 2025 Labor Force Survey highlights the consequences. Youth labor force participation has fallen to 33.1%. Furthermore, 615,000 young workers, representing 10.2% of the total number of employed Filipinos, are underemployed and actively looking for more or better work. These numbers do not stand apart from the education statistics I have shared. They are the other side of the same coin. Poor foundational education, limited access to training, and mismatched skills form a chain of missed opportunities that begin in childhood and end in adulthood. Unless we act decisively through a national skills development framework, stronger private sector partnerships, and reformed technical vocational education, this chain will hold our youth back and drag our economy down, especially as we enter what could be, or is what is seen as, the next industrial revolution. Madam Speaker, education and employment cannot be separated from health. A child who is undernourished, a teenager battling illness, or a young adult with poor mental well-being will struggle to learn, to train, and to work. To deal with these growing needs, my office has committed to strongly conduct congressional oversight in the implementation of health programs for the youth. Beyond this, I have also filed House Bill 2190, the Youth Mental Health Support Act, to create e-guidance counselor programs to provide online mental health consultations for young people and a scholarship program to train new mental health professionals in the Philippines. The 2023 National Nutrition Survey shows some gains in protein and iron intake since 2018 and 2019, yet major gaps persist in low consumption of fruits, root crops, vitamins A and C, and rising plate waste, and of course, declining breastfeeding rates. More than half of pregnant women fall short of their daily energy needs, and only a third of households use iodized salt properly. By adolescence, 2 in 10 young adults are already pre-diabetic, and many report poor mental health. These issues tied to nutrition and income insecurity, these health barriers undermine classroom performance and workforce readiness for tomorrow. The DOST FNRI urges stronger nutrition policies, healthier food environments, and a multi-sector action. Without it, we will continue to see children too hungry to learn, youth too sick to work, and a nation too burdened to compete. If education is the heart of youth development, then health must be its backbone. Madam Speaker, the plight of our out-of-school youth, or OSYs, demands urgent and focused attention. According to the PSA's 2020 census, 1 in every 4 Filipinos aged between 5 to 24 is considered out of school. That is nearly 11 million young people, with around 9 million aged 15 to 24. The pandemic sharply worsened the reality of OSY rates, which have jumped from 16.9% in January 2020 to 25.2% by April 2020, just 1 month into the lockdown. Poverty, early marriage, the need for employment, the lack of personal interest remain the top reasons for dropping out. This is evidence that our system is highly vulnerable to external shocks. Yet there is hope. Studies from the National Youth Commission show 87% of out-of-school youths still intend to complete basic education or training, and many are eager to engage in their communities if they are given the chance. It is for that reason, today, the day after we mark the 25th International Youth Day, I have joined my fellow honorable colleagues of the House in filing back the Magna Carta for out-of-school youth, a landmark bill crafted with nearly 2 decades of legislative effort shaped by the voices of the out-of-school youth themselves and designed to secure their rights and protect them from discrimination and open up pathways to education, decent work, and healthcare services, and even entrepreneurship. International Youth Day reminds us that investing in young people is not just symbolic, it is survival. The youth are not just the future, they are our present. And they must be equipped to shape the present into a stronger tomorrow. Madam Speaker, this is not solely an education problem, it is a poverty problem, and it is a resilience problem. The UNDP's SHIELD program recognizes the youth as allies, change makers, community builders, and key decision makers in building resilience. To support them, we must strengthen programs like the Pantuwid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps, so that no family has to choose between food and education. We must also expand and properly fund the alternative learning system supported by UNICEF to give every child who has left the school a genuine, accessible, and relevant second chance. We must align with the Sustainable Development Goal 4, quality education by 1, investing in our teachers to ensure that they have competitive pay, continuous professional development, and a work environment that honors their service. 2, reforming our curriculum for 21st century realities, including the preparation for disruption brought about by emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence. 3, prioritizing early childhood and foundational education to address low participation and proficiency rates. And 4, building resilient, well-equipped schools that can withstand disasters and enable technology-powered learning with strong youth engagement, especially in regions like the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Madam Speaker, this is no time for complacency. Our youth are our greatest hope and our greatest responsibility. Whether they are in school or out, they deserve education that empowers, skills that endure, and opportunities that inspire. This is a moral imperative, a national security priority, and an economic necessity. Let us act now together to ensure that every Filipino child, regardless of birthplace or circumstance, has access to quality education and a fair chance to succeed. As we have observed in the passage of the 25th International Youth Day, let our commitment be more than words. Let it be action. Today, with the filing of the Magna Carta for out-of-school youth, we have taken a concrete step towards a Philippines where no young person is left behind. Madam Speaker, I yield the floor.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no member of the House. Madam Speaker,
What is the pleasure of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez?
I would wish to intervene, and I would like to ask the Honorable Representative from FPJ Panday Bayanihan if he will be amenable to accept some interventions from this representation.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
What does the majority say?
Madam, may we recognize the gentleman from Cagayan de Oro, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, for his interpellation.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Second District of Cagayan de Oro City, the City of Golden Friendship. Madam Speaker,
Please proceed, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez.
first of all, let me congratulate the Honorable Brian Paul for a very, very exhaustive and comprehensive discussion of the need of the Filipino youth for education, mental health, and so forth. He mentioned about, Madam Chair, mentioned about functional literacy. And this is the focus that I have on my intervention. First, about basic literacy. as compared to functional literacy. And of course, the gentleman would know the difference between basic literacy and our functional literacy, as defined by the Philippine Statistics Authority. Yeah. So, yes, you would know. So, the Honorable Representative mentioned that we have also a problem with functional. But before going to functional literacy, let's go to basic literacy, which is merely our children would know how to write simple messages. That is basic literacy. Functional literacy is the ability of our learners to write and comprehend. Okay, comprehension. May we know from the gentleman that in the survey of the PSA, who has the lowest in terms of regions, who are the lowest provinces and regions with the lowest basic literacy? May we know from our distinguished representative which regions have the lowest? Imagine, because the gentleman has really articulated and we support him. Who are the lowest in literacy? Basic one, because that is where our budget should be able to address.
Madam Speaker, if I may.
Please proceed, Honorable.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Speaker, but from what I understand, there are areas in BARM which are in dire need of our support to increase their levels of functional literacy. If I'm not mistaken, there were provisions in the previous budget in order to increase our efforts in addressing this, but I do remember BARM being one of the regions badly affected in this situation.
Thank you. The gentleman is correct. Among the 16 regions of our country, the BARM, according to PSA, the BARM is the lowest in terms of basic literacy. So we should address this particular problem with BARM, and then also the area of Soksargen and the area of Caraga. 3 regions in Mindanao are the lowest in the country. That is the PSA. Now let us go to functional literacy. Would a gentleman know that functional, meaning not only the ability to read and write, but the ability to comprehend and compute? That is the distinction. May we know what is the lowest in terms of the PSA? The PSA survey on functional literacy. May we know what is the lowest in terms of the region who has the lowest in functional literacy?
Madam Speaker, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but I do believe that BARM is still the lowest in terms of functional literacy, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Well, he is nearly right, but the lowest is not anymore BARM. They are better now in computing and understanding. The lowest now under the 2024. This is the 2024 PSA figures on their survey. The lowest now, again, from Mindanao. And they have only, the lowest now is Zamboanga Peninsula, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, because in Zamboanga Peninsula, they have only, this is very important to our representative, 59.3 literacy. Meaning 40% do not understand what they're doing and what they're reading and what they are writing. So these are concerns, Madam Speaker, that I from Mindanao would like to really elucidate and get the support of the Honorable Representative from FPJ, Panday Bayanihan, while he is in general asking for our attention to the literacy and mental health program, let us also give focus to Mindanao, where most, in terms of the 10 lowest functional literacy, 6 provinces and 3 regions are the lowest in our country. And so with that, Madam Chair, having brought out the fact that Mindanao cries for more attention in terms of more teachers, more teaching tools. I would like to congratulate the Honorable Brian Poe, the representative of the FPJ Panday Bayanihan for bringing this out, especially, wala na pala sila, the students over there earlier, and of course, the representatives of the Panday Bayanihan over there, congratulating Madam Chair, our representative for that very exhaustive and comprehensive disposition of our state of our youth today. Congratulations and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, if I may respond.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to thank the Honorable Congressman Rufus Rodriguez for his baptism in this honorable chamber. I really appreciate that he brought up the statistics specifically on Mindanao, the Zamboanga Peninsula, BARM, because it's no secret to many of my colleagues here that many of FPJ's fans were from Mindanao. So I would be remiss in not pointing out that they should definitely be supported by this constituency. And I ask for the previous speaker, Congressman Rufus's support in pushing for more programs that will not only support our fellow Mindanaoans, but will make them competitive in the upcoming workforce and industrial revolution. Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the lady from Party List Kabataan, the Honorable Rene Luis Co, for her interpellation.
The Honorable Rene Luis Co of Party List Kabataan is hereby recognized to interpellate the Honorable Poe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Poe, if you may, I'd like to take some time to be able to ask you a few questions and provide some comments regarding your speech on the status of the education crisis here in the Philippines.
Madam Speaker, yes.
Okay. As the Madam Speaker has already provided permission to be able to interpolate, first of all, Representative Poe, thank you very much for your speech. This representation appreciates the time and the attention that you have provided regarding the suffering, the plight of the pag-asa ng bayan. No? Natutuwa din ako na sa 20th Congress, actually, malaki-laki yung porsyento natin na nasa kabataan. Kaya marami tayong pwedeng pag-usapan at we can work with, cooperate in relation sa paano ba natin ay na-navigate palabas ng education crisis. And in particular, I'd like your line about how the youth today, we don't want youth that's too hungry to learn, too sick to work, and too burdened para magpatuloy sa paghahawak ng kinabukasan natin. And poverty and hunger are our biggest obstacles to this. And in addition, mental health, as you've mentioned. But given that it's timely that other than we celebrated the International and National Youth Day yesterday, today, the budget books have been released for fiscal year 2026. No? Dito rin natin makikita na kung ano man yung priorities ng administration, sabi education, is it really reflective sa mga plano nila? To the honorable representation that has provided that speech, are you aware of the number of classrooms that the Department of Education is seeking to fund and build for the next fiscal year as provided in the NEP that was just released recently, a few hours ago? Yun po.
Madam Speaker, if I may respond.
Please proceed.
Well, The NEP was just turned over to us a few hours ago. So to be honest with you, I'd like to be able to review it and make sure that the backlog has not increased since the previous budget. But in the previous budget, I remember it being in the millions of classrooms which need to be built.
Okay. Madam Speaker, if I may reply.
Please proceed.
We actually look forward to all the hearings that we'll be conducting in relation to how to critique, how to really look at the education budget we'll be having for next year. But as our team has had preliminary look on the number of classrooms that the Department of Education is seeking to fund, no, it is actually at 4,896. So that is a far cry from
4,000?
the number of classrooms deficit that's actually required, and as per the findings of agencies themselves, ilan pa ang kailangan, no? Ang ilan pa, 165,000 classrooms. So, ano po ang point ng interpellation na to? Kailangan ng mas malaking budget para sa edukasyon, no? Ang ating hangarin, no, walang state university and college, walang budget cut na mararanasan sila. Ang Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education should see an increase in the budget so as maging totoo doon sa constitutional requirement that education is the highest budgetary priority. Beyond yung non-compliance natin sa budget last year na 3.2% lang ng GDP ng Pilipinas, no? Ang standard that by which we need to hold kung ano ang education budget should be 6% of the GDP of the Philippines, no? Yung 3.2% nga last year, hindi pa to compliant doon sa 4% na standard by the region, no, Southeast Asia. So, this representation and lahat ng representation dito na nasa edad ng kabataan, lahat ng nandito din para sa concern ng kinabukasan ng bayan. We're looking forward to not only the passionate interpellation, the passionate advocating of higher education budget, pero to see it translated, no, into actual not only projects, pero paano ba tutugunan sa kabuuan yung pangailangan ng mga iba't ibang estudyante. Tama po, no? They shouldn't go hungry. Therefore, nasaan yung food programs, no? They shouldn't be mentally ill going into classrooms. Therefore, nasaan yung mga items para yung mga guidance counselors, psychiatrists ay ma-accommodate at may sufficient funding para ang SUC or ang anumang school ay mapondohan sila. We're looking forward to these collaboration points for the coming budget deliberations that we'll be having in the next months to the Representative Brian Poe and everyone else here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Speaker, if I may.
If the Honorable Po is willing to respond, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, this is why we appreciate the voice of the minority as fiscalizers here in Congress. And I've had a shared history with Kabataan party list as a young youth leader in my college days. So I'm very glad that the second to interpolate me is from Kabataan party list. But to those points on, one, the badly needed classrooms for our students, that's correct. The increase in budget, which we saw in the NEP, is something that we're very happy about. What we do want to take note of in terms of, for example, yung sinabi niyang food problems or yung poverty na naranasan ng mga kabataan sa kanilang eskwelahan. Itong school-based feeding program, which the Department of Education has been pushing, that budget only increased by 200% as of, if I believe, 1 or 2 fiscal terms ago. So it's only recently that DepEd has continued to put money into this time and time again, which is why we don't want to leave things like this to just the budget season. We want to enact laws like the expanded school-based feeding program to be able to ensure that all children, not just the severely malnourished, will be given access to proper food. And that's why it was one of my top priority bills. And second, with regards to the mental health issue, which I know that the Kabataan Party List has been really championing for our youth, that is why I brought up in my privileged speech the need for the e-guidance counselor bill and support for scholarships for those who want to pursue mental health services in the future. All of this to be a part of the holistic development of the entire educational system. And
I move that the speech of the gentleman, for the Honorable Poe, be referred to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Any objection? Hearing none, the privileged speech of the Honorable Brian Poe of Party List FPJ Panday Bayanihan, including its interpolations, is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur, the Honorable Eddie Bong Plaza, to avail of the privileged hour.
The Honorable Eddie Bong Plaza of the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur is hereby recognized to talk about developing a Philippine soil health strategy that prioritizes soil conservation, sustainable management, and innovation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House of the People, I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. 3 years ago, I sounded the alarm of a creeping crisis that has escaped our national attention. The soil health crisis appears unremarkable compared to the headline problems of our agriculture sector. Yes, we need to deal with rice, vegetable smuggling, price manipulation, and hoarding with such urgency. But as I have deep dived into our soils, I learned that our soil health problem is not just local, but global problem. Soil is a limited resource. Soil health problem is an essential threat. It has and will destroy agriculture. As we know, it has and will compromise global food security. Last year, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warned us that we have less than 10 years to limit temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels with recent annual temperatures. We are miserably failing, Madam Speaker. Soil is essential to managing the world's climate emergency. Soil health is the backbone of our food systems. Its degradation can have far-reaching consequences. Soil erosion, nutrient depletion, and salinization are real and evident threats. The consequences of inaction will be dire. Soil degradation is threatening the very foundation of our food systems. Soil health is to mitigate climate change. We need to ensure a healthy ecosystem. Soils with high organic matter support and sustain plant growth, filter water, and sequester carbon. As our soils are now under severe threats, we should take action to protect them. Alarmingly, the clock is ticking. We must prioritize soil health, adopt sustainable agriculture practices, and work together to ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. As it stands, approximately 70% of our country's land area is affected by acidification, fertility decline, and erosion. Soil degradation impairs agricultural productivity, destroys crops, production system, and imperils the livelihood of our smallholder farmers. Dr. Pearl Sanchez, eminent professor of the UPLB, reported our production systems are intensively managed. We use a lot of inputs such as fertilizers, manures, and crop protectants to increase crop yield. This leads to considerable soil misuse and overuse, accumulation of heavy metals, and increased nutrient pollution. Philippine agriculture is losing about 457 million tons of soil annually. Soil is non-renewable, making soil conservation and sustainable management a matter of life and death. Soil sealing in our 9.7 million hectare agricultural land will not just be an intervention, but a death-averting maneuver. As we strive to boost national agriculture productivity and ensure food security, I called upon agencies to prioritize the development of suitable soil testing protocols tailored to the specific types of soils found in our region, province, or municipality. These protocols must be calibrated with crop yield to provide accurate and reliable fertilizer recommendations. Unfortunately, our recurring practice relied heavily on the Soil Rapid Test Kit, or STK. For soil nutrient diagnosis, it raised false hopes to our farmers. The STK results are not calibrated based on local soil types, crop, and growing conditions. The qualitative nature of STK results, categorizing nutrient levels as low, medium, high, or excessive, makes it difficult to calculate accurate fertilizer recommendations. This leads to under or over fertilization, resulting in significant economic cost to our farmers and environmental cost for our nation. We need to have more strategic approach to soil testing, fertilizer management by developing, implementing tailored soil testing protocols that are calibrated with crop yield. We can create informed fertilization programs that are cost-effective and can significantly boost crop yields. This will optimize and empower our farmers with the knowledge they need to optimize their fertilizer applications, reduce waste, and improve their livelihood. Mr. Speaker, sorry, nagpalit na pala. Mr. Speaker, Agusan del Sur has taken the lead in reversing these misguided policies. We have conducted evidence-based studies and will continue to adopt science-oriented agricultural practices along with Governor Santiago Cani Jr. and Congressman Alfil Basco. We marshaled our SP members and municipal mayors to study and learn from the best practices of our neighboring countries, which embrace a more adaptive, productive, and sustainable agriculture. Since 2022, we have forged a technical academic partnership with the Australian government. Through its Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or ASIA, Griffith University, and Queensland University. This collaboration, Mr. Speaker, laid the basis for the cooperation for development of national soil strategy for both countries, along with the other pilot provinces of Ilocos Norte, Bataan, and Tarlac. We will soon be fully implementing the collaborative science-based soil health strategic protocol that can be adapted by our provinces to their needs. Mr. Speaker, we studied and acquired guidance from Japan on soil health remediation technologies aiming to reduce the use of chemical fertilizer. By drawing on their expertise, we can ensure that our agricultural practices are innovative, modern, and sustainable. We studied the soil laboratories of Thailand. We have learned that the Thai government developed and relied on their soil doctors in empowering their farmers through soil science. Thailand was able to reduce the use of chemical fertilizer by 30% and increased farmers' income to 20%. We have studied the French-inspired irrigation system of Vietnam. They have successfully integrated their water management systems and climate-smart practices which improve soil fertility and reduce production costs. These case studies, Mr. Speaker, demonstrate for us that comprehensive science-based collaborative national soil health strategy can rehabilitate our soils, reverse soil health degradation, and improve productivity of our farmers. With all our efforts to save our soil, we extend our profound gratitude to our leaders who not only listened to our previous call to action, but acted decisively and taken soil science to unprecedented heights. Mr. Speaker, we thank our President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., who took the personal interest in soil science and led the country's first National Soil Health Summit. He helped us bring science-oriented agriculture to the forefront of his SONA. President BBM was empathic to this end.
Sa tulong ng DOST, ginagamit natin ang mga magagandang dulot ng agham tulad ng mga nadiskubre at nagawa ng ating mga siyentipiko at inventor. Pati na rin ang mga modernong pamamaraan tulad ng mga bagong binhi, pataba, makinarya at estratehiya gaya ng intercropping at off-season technique.
We thank our Agriculture Secretary, Secretary Francisco Kiko Chu Laurel Jr., who has walked with us on this journey under his leadership. The Department of Agriculture has collaborated with various stakeholders to strengthen our regional soil laboratories and position soil health as one of DA's banner programs. We thank our Science and Technology Secretary, Dr. Renato Solidum Jr., for the significant scientific, technological, innovation support through its Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, Natural Resources, and Development, which capacitated Agusan del Sur to adopt science-based soil management, increasing farm productivity and reducing poverty incidence. We thank our Speaker, Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, and my Committee on Agriculture Chairman and Food Chair, Congressman Mark Enverga, for their steadfast support in fine-tuning our learnings into something practical, applicable to all our provinces in the country. As indeed, what good are our learnings be if we cannot translate them into tangible benefits for the Filipino farmers? Our 2-year study on fertilization strategies for improved rice productivity in Agusan del Sur has shown the effectiveness of soil test-based fertilization in boosting yields and reducing costs. The study was conducted in a challenging environment where the soils have a historical yield limitation of not exceeding 4 tons per hectare, which is the national yield threshold for rice. The trial was conducted across 4 cropping seasons, 2 wet and 2 dry seasons, in a farmer's field setting with 2 to 3 hectares of rice paddies, featuring 3 fertilizer treatments with 3 replications. The results showed that soil test-based fertilization yielded an average of 6.16 tons per hectare, outperforming other strategies and surpassing national yield threshold of 4 tons per hectare. This approach in farmers' fields the success of this study has inspired the provincial government of Agusan del Sur to invest in a state-of-the-art agriculture research laboratory and to establish the Provincial Research Development and Innovation Office. With critical support from DOST Picard, the DA and Asia were embarking to help our farmers know their soils and improve their yields through sustainable crop production. With the research laboratory, we can and will next develop a soil information system that will guide our agricultural planning, investment, and programs. The system will enable us to identify low, mid, and high-performing lands in our province and municipalities to determine suitable crops for specific sites and provide tailored recommendations for inputs to achieve optimal yields and quality by harnessing the power of soil science and technology. We can drive sustainable agricultural growth, not in Agusan del Sur, but in the rest of the country. We need to work together as we did in Agusan del Sur. We need to develop now than later the Philippine Soil Health Strategy that will drive forward soil conservation, sustainable soil health management, and agricultural innovation in all provinces. That is the only way forward, Mr. Speaker. In fact, sa totoo lang, ang probinsya ng Agusan del Sur are really investing in our human resource, in creating new scientists in terms of soil science and in agriculture. Right now, we have 2 students that would graduate this coming October, PhD in soil science, that would help us continue the program in our province and for the rest of the country if need be. And if any of my colleagues here is interested, ako po ay handang tumulong, ibigay ang aking teknolohiya, knowledge, programa upang makatulong sa inyong mga distrito. We also have 12 more students in Central Mindanao University who is studying master's degree in soil science. We have 2 more students going in this coming October to Griffith University and Queensland University. Libre po ito ng Australian government para po magkaroon tayo ng mas madaming scientists sa ating bansa. Hopefully, the Department of Agriculture will also be sending more of their agriculturists in masteral and PhDs so that we have a better understanding with how the importance of soil in our country. There is no quick fix in our problem in agriculture. Yes, Mr. Speaker, there's not as quick a fix as we hope it to be. Investing in soil science and fixing the ground is crucial for long-term food security, given that 95% of our food is produced in our soils. Soil health strategy needs time, patience, and unwavering resolve for all the stakeholders. That is why, Mr. Speaker, the time for action is now. If we protect our soils now, we will save our agriculture and ensure a sustainable food secure future for generations to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and may God bless the Filipino farmers.
Daghang salamat, Representative Eddie Bong G. Plaza, gentleman from the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no interpolator, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Congressman of the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur, Honorable Eddie Bong Plaza, to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
I withdraw my motion, Mr. Speaker. And I recognize the good gentleman from the Southern Leyte, Honorable Mercado.
Honorable Mercado, Congressman Mercado of Southern Leyte, you're recognized, sir.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Majority Floor Leader.
One moment, Congressman Mercado, what are your
May
intentions?
I would like to ask for some clarificatory
Or to interpolate?
and
To interpolate.
interpellation to our gentleman from Agusan del
The
Sur.
gentleman of Agusan is open for interpolation.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed, Congressman Mercado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Majority Leader, and firstly, I would like to ask our gentleman who is delivering this very timely, privileged speech if he's willing to answer some queries.
Of course, to my friend and long-time friend from Leyte, please do so.
Yeah, thank you very much. The gentleman from Agusan del Sur is a good friend of ours, and we know him to be successful in farming and in the field of reforestation and in the field of agricultural technology. So I gathered my courage, Mr. Speaker, to rise and ask him for support, because I believe that this timely information from our colleague will go far in helping solve our problem on food production, and most importantly, provide livelihood and better income for our farmers. Mr. Speaker, how can we avail of these technologies that you have delivered this afternoon in terms of perhaps areas in your province where we can visit, and perhaps we can ask some good pointers or advice from your province mates who are experts in the field of agriculture, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really love your answer because I have an answer for it. For the information of my friend, Congressman Oging Mercado. We already have a research laboratory in our province. And we are very much willing, those who are interested in agriculture, to see our research laboratory. Okay po sa amin talaga yan, to share our technology, to share our knowledge, and even how we were able to convert our upland areas into a very productive areas for our small stakeholder farmers. We have this what you call Upland Sustainable and Agroforestry Development Program in the province, and I also passed a bill with regard to this. I'm very much willing to really share this knowledge and technology to my fellow congressmen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I understand, Mr. Speaker, that you are comparing this soil technology with a human being, where we need to have an examination and to know the
uh, the blood component of our body, which needs vitamins, or perhaps to determine some illness in our system. I hope we will not have that. But can you elucidate or say more about these similarities between our human body and the soil?
Thank you. Again, Mr. Speaker, ganito lang po yun. I'd like to simplify everything. Soil is life. Human being is life. Ang nangyayari sa atin ngayon, shotgun approach ang pagbibigay ng fertilizer kung saang area, in all areas in the entire country of the Philippines. Same kind of fertilizer ang binibigay ng ating department or sometimes itong mga fertilizer companies. But the real truth of the matter is, just like a human being, pag check up natin, we do blood test before we go to our doctors. In the same token, with regards to our soil, in our specific area, we need to soil test and really check the nutrients content of that particular soil in order for us na mabigay yung tamang fertilizer recommendation doon sa klase ng halaman or crops na ating itinanim. It doesn't mean na kung sa Leyte ay okay ang lupa, sa Agusan del Sur ay maganda rin ang lupa. Hindi ibig sabihin na sa isang munisipyo, kapareho din ang lupa sa isang munisipyo. Iba-iba po ito. So it needs testing if we want to be a science-based in terms of agriculture. In order for us na hindi na tayo parating mag-import, I think it's the best way for us to really do the scientific approach in terms of agriculture para matulungan natin ang ating mga magsasaka.
So, Mr. Speaker, maganda po ito. And I think this should be recommended as one of the policy of our government, especially in the Department of Agriculture, where we need to boost production. And perhaps this is the reason why we could not arrive at a bigger production in terms of rice and other agricultural products, because we did not start right. And I believe in you, Mr. Speaker, that we should start by examining the soil so that we will know what kind of plant or vegetables or any matter, so that we can produce more at a lesser area, and we can perhaps really solve this nagging problem of food for our people, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, with the indulgence of the interpolators and the sponsor,
Majority Leader.
I move that we extend the privilege hour to accommodate more speakers.
Is there no objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The privilege hour is therefore extended for Majority Leader. Majority Leader, 1 hour.
Thank you,
1
Mr.
hour.
Speaker. Ganito na lang po, no? I think I would ask my chairman in agriculture to set up a briefing to all my fellow congressmen who intends to listen and want to learn more about agriculture. I will send the necessary resource speaker so that they can guide us, and for our fellow congressmen to really know what soil science is about and how important soil is for our farmers. Pag busog ang farmers natin, definitely education comes next. You cannot do anything with education if our farmers' stomach are hungry. Kung sila ay hirap na hirap. So, I will arrange with Congressman Mark Enverga na magkaroon ng briefing with regards to the importance of soil science in agriculture in our country as a whole. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Perfectly, Mr. Speaker. And we have, in fact, we are
happy that you informed us, this body, about the importance of soil testing and improvement of soil technology. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like to know how we can avail of the gentleman's benefits on people who wants to study more about this technology and scholarships, perhaps.
Actually, no, sa ngayon, the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, nagbibigay na po ito ng scholarship program. And I forgot there's another organization in UP Los Baños that also gives scholarship grants to, especially to agriculture for master's degree and PhD. So I have more information about this and I can help definitely as a public servant. I've been governor for 15 years, congressman for 6 years and 3 more years. And definitely I would love to share the knowledge to our fellow congressmen here for the betterment of our country in terms of agriculture. So, magkalapit naman tayo ng upuan. I'm very much willing sa iba naman na gustong may ipasok na scholar para sa agriculture or soil science in particular, handang-handa po akong tumulong sa ating mga kapwa congressman sa kanilang mga lokal na mga agriculturists sa kanilang mga probinsya. Thank you,
Mr. Speaker. Coming from Southern Leyte, who is also an agricultural province, I would like to request our gentleman, who is a good friend of ours, if someday our technologists and perhaps students from our College of Agriculture in our University of Southern Leyte State University, can visit your province and observe and make some studies and perhaps bring it to our province so that we can also benefit from the examples or programs of your very progressive and a province who is well known for its concern on agriculture.
No problem, Congressman Mercado. Just write a letter to our provincial governor and I will facilitate it and make sure that your contingent will be well taken care of in the province of Agusan del Sur. And you'll be able to see how and why we have put up and invested heavily in our research laboratory for the farmers of the province of Agusan del Sur, and hopefully we can share it to other provinces in our country.
Yeah. For the information, Mr. Speaker, of our colleagues, our province received some bags of seeds, tree, Falcata species, no? From our good friend, Congressman Plaza, Edibong Plaza. So let me thank the good congressman for his generosity, and our province and people are also very happy and thankful. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, the gentleman from Agusan del Sur.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my fellow colleagues in the House of the People.
Daghang salamat, Kongresista Mercado and Kongresista Pamagusan del Sur. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no interpolator, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Congressman Edibong Plaza to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there no objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of...
Mr. Speaker,
sir.
I move to withdraw the motion.
motion withdrawn. Majority
And,
Leader.
to recognize the Honorable Congresswoman Jane Castro from the 2nd District of Capiz.
Please proceed, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. will the gentleman, I just have one question to the good gentleman from Agusan del Sur.
Sorry ha, na-excite ako. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, ma'am.
to the good friend of my husband,
Sige po.
Congressman Plaza. So in the newly approved RCEP, Rice Competitive Enhancement Fund, which will run for another 6 years, and this has an approved budget of fund of 30 billion pesos, and this has already started. And so one feature that was introduced in the RCEF was along with post-harvest facilities, the giving of warehouses like that, storage. There was also this soil testing. My question is, do you think that this soil testing, which will be undertaken by the Department of Agri, will it be comparable to the soil testing that is being done now in Agusan del Sur?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Congresswoman, I have an issue with regards to soil testing of the Bureau of Soils and Water Management and with our soil testing protocols and methods. Doon po ako may issue sa kanila. That's why ang probinsya ng Agusan del Sur invested 400 million worth of research laboratory dahil hindi po kami nagkakaintindihan ng Bureau of Soils and Water Management with the way they are teaching and doing their soil testing protocols and methods. In fact, if you will check our regional soils laboratory, paki-check po kung functional. Kasi sa probinsya, sa region namin, hindi po functional ang regional soils lab. So, hindi ako agree sa kanilang pamamaraan, lalong-lalo na sa soil test kit or rapid test kit. It's qualitative. Our laboratory is quantitative. So, figures ang nakikita na kung ano ang kulang, ano ang meron sa lupa na nutrients.
So, do you think it will just be a waste of time and a waste of fund by the Department of Agriculture?
No, not really. But ang akin lang is I want to prove na, I have to show evidence para paniwalaan na ako na itong method, itong protocol na ito, ang dapat gawin kasi nakakatulong sa ating farmers. As I have said, from 3.56 tons per hectare, we were able to increase it to 6.16 tons per hectare ang inbred pato in a very difficult soil situation. Ang akin lang po is really, I don't want, mahirap po yung salita tayo ng salita na wala akong ebidensya. Now, I have the courage na to show to them na ito yung ginawa namin. And this is documented. Bakit hindi natin pwedeng pag-usapan at kung kinakailangan baguhin yung pamamaraan at yung sistema ng soil testing ng Bureau of Soils and Water Management, bakit hindi? Kung may problema, tanggapin natin ang problema at hanapan natin ng solusyon at kung kinakailangan nating tulungan, ako po ay willing tumulong because marami po akong scientist na naka-back up sa akin.
Okay.
So, willing po tayong tumulong. Ang problema po, hindi sila nakikinig.
So, question is, have you really ever talked seriously with the Department of Agriculture with regards to this program? Since you said you have already some evidences to prove that they, for example, in Agusan del Sur, you were already harvesting about 263%.
Yes, that's a maximum, nag 263% in one cropping. But on the average, it's just about 130%. Yun po ang katotohanan po doon.
And did you ever
True
talk
enough,
to them? Seriously, sir?
It went up to 263% yung isang cropping. But it was a 4 cropping in 2 years' time. So on the average, it was 130% ang increase ng
Okay,
income
sir.
ng farmers.
So, will you start talking to them about this program? Seriously, I mean?
Can you speak
With the
louder,
Department
Madam
of
President?
Agri, with this program? Are you going to have a serious talk with the Department of Agriculture? Because I think, I believe that soil science or the health of the soil is of paramount importance. No, it should be given attention because in one crop cycle, when you plant and then you are able to harvest, the nutrients are depleted. No, sir, along with the practices like kaingin, the burning of soil, the farmers don't know that they are already damaging or destroying these bacteria that can help their plants.
Yes, ma'am. Ganito na lang po, since I think meron pang ibang gusto mag-privilege speech, I would want to get to talk to you, ma'am, and discuss this further because I think I have a lot of things to share with you. If you're passionate about soil science, I'm also very passionate about this. In fact, may travel order na akong pinapa-approve because I will be bringing the policymakers of the province in Brisbane, Australia, to see again and check what their soil science is all about in Australia, in which Brisbane is a tropical, they have a tropical weather condition. So, akma dito sa atin sa Pilipinas.
Okay, sir. So, okay. I
Good
think this,
that you have interest in soil science because that is the purpose of my privilege speech, for me to have more kakampi na itulak at i-push ang lahat ng ito with regards to soil testing, soil test-based fertilization program.
okay, sir. Thank you. So I think this should be a nationwide trust. So you should really collaborate with our agency, leading agency with the Department of Agriculture, in order to help our farmers yield more. They will their field or their farms will yield more crops, and this will answer the food shortage, and we will have food security in our country. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Rest assured that we'll keep you updated, and the Committee on Agriculture will update every members that are really interested. I have a lot of plans with regards to soil science for us, for our colleagues to have a better understanding what soil science is all about.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Daghang salamat. Maraming salamat, Congresswoman Castro and Congressman Edibong Plaza. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the speech of the gentleman from
Gusan.
I move to refer the speech of Congressman Edibong Plaza to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action, together with the interpolator.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of Honorable Agusan del Sur, Congressman Edibong Plaza, as well as interpolations, manifestations, is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules and its appropriate for its appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Before we proceed with the privilege hour, may we request to recognize the guests of Representative Paulo Ortega of the 1st District of La Union. These are Myra Diwata Rivera Caroy and Nelson Caroy of IBP La Union.
Majority Leader, kindly repeat the
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed with the privilege hour, may we recognize the guests of Representative Paulo Ortega of the 1st District of La Union.
1st District of La Union, guests, magandang hapon.
These are Myra Diwata Rivera Caroy, Nelson Caroy of IBP La Union.
To the guests of Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega of La Union, saan sila? Welcome to the House of Representatives on behalf of Speaker Martin Romualdez. Good afternoon, sir. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from Party List Pusong Pinoy, Journey Jet Nisay to avail of the privilege hour.
To the guests of Partilist Pusong Pinoy, may we have them? Yes, I stand corrected, Majority Leader. May I now recognize Congress Representative Journey Jet V. Nisay of Party List Pusong Pinoy. You are recognized, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr.
Good afternoon.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, isang maganda at mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. Hindi lamang bilang mambabatas, kundi bilang isang anak, kapatid, kaibigan at kapwa Pilipino na lubos na nababahala sa kasalukuyang estado ng kalusugan sa ating bansa. Naniniwala ko na walang kahit anong kaunlaran, walang kahit anong proyekto o programa ang tunay na magtatagumpay kung ang ating mamamayan ay may mga sakit o hindi maayos na pangangatawan. Ang malusog na mamamayan ay haligi ng isang malakas na bansa. At kung ito'y mabubuwal, babagsak din ang lahat ng ating pinaghihirapan. Isa sa mga naging malinaw na ipinahayag ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, and I quote, "Number 1 para sa akin sa priority na ginagawa ng pamahalaan yung healthcare." End of quote. Sa katatapos din na State of the Nation Address, ipinag-utos din ng Pangulo na maipatupad ang zero balance billing sa lahat ng pasyente ng mga DOH hospitals. Nangangahulugang walang babayarang basic accommodation at sakop na rin ng PhilHealth ang heart surgery, cancer assistant fund, kidney transplant, therapy, malnutrition, medication at marami pang serbisyo. Nabanggit din ng Pangulo, and I quote, "Sa kabilang banda naman, nakikita natin ang sobrang pagtaas naman ng timbang ng ating mga kababayang edad, 20 at pataas. Kaya sikapin nating maging mas aktibo ang ating pamumuhay araw-araw." End of quote. Ito ay isang malinaw na panawagan ng ating Pangulo. Ang pangalaga sa kalusugan ng Pilipino ay dapat na prioridad ng gobyerno. Binanggit niya na hindi lamang ang pagpapalakas ng serbisyo medikal, kundi ang pagtataguyod ng isang aktibo at malusog na pamumuhay para sa lahat. Isang paalala na kung talagang mahal natin ang ating bayan, dapat natin itong simulan sa pagpapahalaga sa ating katawan at kalusugan. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, sa huling pag-aaral ng World Health Organization kasama ang Department of Health at United Nations Development Program, ang pinakamalaking banta sa kalusugan ng Pilipino ay hindi ang mga nakakahawang sakit o karamdaman. Subalit ang mga tahimik, ngunit nakamamatay na non-communicable diseases o NCDs, katulad ng sakit sa puso, stroke, diabetes, cancer, kidney failure, at chronic respiratory disease. Ayon sa kanilang pinakahuling datos, 68% ng lahat ng namamatay sa Pilipinas ay dahil sa NCDs. This is a public health issue that impedes the overall development of our country. Araw-araw, libu-libong mga Pilipino ang nawawalan ng kakayahang magtrabaho, napipilitang ubusin ng ipon, at madalas nababaon sa utang para sa gamutan. Naiulat na taon-taon ang ating national economy ay nawawalan ng tinatayang 756.5 billion pesos o katumbas ng 4.8% ng GDP nang dahil sa mga NCDs. These are what we call hidden costs that run up to 9 times higher than direct medical expenses. Sa mga ospital, ang mga nagtatagal sa confinement at lubhang nahihirapan ay ang mga pasyenteng nagkakaroon ng stroke, komplikasyon ng diabetes, o kidney failure. Ang mga NCDs ay laganap, malawakan at araw-araw na pinapasan ng mga mamamayang Pilipino. At bilang mga mambabatas, nakikita at nararamdaman natin ito sa walang humpay na paglapit sa ating mga tanggapan ng mga kababayan nating nangangailangan ng medical assistance. NCDs are silent assassins preying of many Filipinos. Nakakaalarma na nasa 7 sa bawat 10 namamatay na Pilipino ay namamatay dahil sa NCD, na posible sanang maiwasan o maagapan kung hindi tayo kikilos ngayon. Unti-unti tayong lalamunin at madodoble ang bilang ng NCD cases pagdating ng 2040. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, naniniwala ang representasyon na ito na health promotion is the key. Ito ang pader na pumapalibot sa ating bayan, ang dipensang pipigil sa sakit bago pa ito sumalakay. Isang epektibong paraan para palakasin ang depensa bago pa man makapasok ang sakit. Kaya naman ang health promotive and preventive care ay dapat abot kamay ng bawat Juan at Maria, hindi lamang ng mga may kakayahang magbayad. Bilang dating lokal na opisyal sa lungsod ng Balanga, Bataan, nakita ko mismo kung gaano kalaki ang epekto ng maayos na implementasyon ng health promotion initiatives. Naging modelo ang Balanga City dahil sa Health Promotion Board Ordinance at Tobacco Free Generation Campaign, and how it protected its constituents by increasing health awareness of every citizen and forming a healthy environment in every barangay. Bukod sa mga information, education, and communication, sinabayan din ito ng iba't ibang regular na programa sa Balanga City, katulad ng Gulayan sa Bakuran, Zumba, Fun Run, TFG Bike Ride, at pagsasagawa ng mga seminar upang matutukan ang mga kabataan at kababayan patungkol sa mga epekto ng smoking, alcoholism, drug addiction, teenage pregnancy, mental health, HIV/AIDS, suicide prevention, maternal health at iba pa. Sinundan din ito ng iba't ibang bayan ng Bataan. We fortified our defenses to protect our youth and our future generation. Ang mga inisyatiba naman ng pamahalaang panlalawigan ng Bataan sa kalusugan, tulad ng Operation Timbang Plus, ay nagdulot ng makabuluhan at malinaw na pagbabago. Sa pinakabagong datos ng Bataan Provincial Health Office sa loob ng taong 2023 to 2025, mula sa resulta ng 76,679, bumaba ang malnutrisyon sa mga batang may edad 0 hanggang 59 na buwan. Ang porsyento ng underweight ay bumaba mula 3.1% noong 2023 patungong 2.07% noong 2025. Habang ang stunting ay bumaba mula 5.5% patungong 3.2% sa parehong panahon, bumaba rin ng 1.54% na lamang ang mga batang moderate wasted at severe wasted o mga payat at sakitin. Samantala, 2.48% na lamang ang mga batang overweight and obese o mga batang sobra sa wastong timbang. Ang nakita ko po sa Balanga at sa buong Bataan ay patunay na kaya sa lokal na level, kaya rin sa buong bansa. Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleagues, sa kasalukuyan, ang ating Health Promotion Bureau ay nakapaloob sa Department of Health na abalang-abala rin sa samot-saring krisis, problema sa pangkalusugan. At sa ilalim din ng Universal Healthcare Law, obligasyon ng DOH na maglaan ng 1% na kanilang budget para sa health promotive and preventive strategies. Ngunit kadalasan, ang preventive health strategies ay natatabunan ng pangailangan sa curative services. Ito po ang ilang mga dahilan kung bakit naniniwala ako na panahon na upang tayo ay magtatag at atin pong ihain ang National Health Promotion Board Bill. Let us strengthen our DOH Health Promotion Bureau into an independent government agency like the National Nutrition Council. Ang National Health Promotion Board sa ating magiging panukala ay magkakaroon ng sariling budget, estratehiya at kapasidad upang palawakin ang mental health promotion activities katulad ng pagtuturo sa pagkain ng masustansya, paghikayat ng aktibong pamumuhay, pagbawas ng stress o pagpapabuti ng mental health, pag-iwas sa bisyo at pangalaga sa kalikasan. If we establish an independent National Health Promotion Board focused solely on preventive strategies, our nation can finally invest in high-impact best buys, such as promoting physical activity, tobacco and alcohol use control, or salt reduction. According to WHO UNDP estimates, These interventions require a modest investment of 28.9 billion pesos over 15 years and can generate a staggering return of 377.7 billion pesos while saving over 350,000 lives. Ang pagpatatag ng ganitong ahensya ay hindi lamang magbibigay ng mas malinaw na direksyon at mas epektibong health promotion efforts. Ito rin ay magbubukas ng pinto para sa mas malawak na pakikipag-ugnayan sa LGUs, pribadong sektor, paaralan at mga civic society organizations. Ang bawat probinsya at lungsod ay maaaring magkaroon ng sariling local health promotion board, gaya ng ilan ang nakapagsimula nito at nakapagpakita ng positibong resulta. At kung sabay-sabay itong kikilos, makakatulong tayo sa mas mabilis at maaabot natin ang layunin ng United Nations Sustainable Development Goals sa taong 2030. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, hindi lamang ito tungkol sa pisikal na kalusugan. Ang pagtuturo ng aktibo at malusog na pamumuhay ay may epekto rin sa mental at overall health ng ating mamamayan. Ang taong malusog ang katawan ay mas masigla ang pag-iisip. Mas matatag sa hamon ng buhay, mas handang magtrabaho at mag-aral, at mas may kapasidad na mag-alaga ng kapwa. Ito'y pamumuhunan sa tao, investment for people's health. Sapagkat sa bawat Pilipinong malusog, mas matatag ang bawat tahanan, sa bawat pamilyang masigla, mas maunlad ang bawat komunidad, at sa bawat bansang masigla at malusog, mas maliwanag ang kinabukasan ng ating bayan. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang Health Promotion Board ng ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat, Pusong Pinoy Party List, Congressman Nisay. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no interpolators, I move that we refer the speech of the gentleman from Pusong Pinoy Party List, Journey Nisay, to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The speech of Congressman Nisay, Pusong Pinoy, is hereby referred for appropriate action in the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend the privilege hour for a few minutes.
There's a motion to suspend the privilege hour. Any objection? Hearing none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.
I spoke to yes on Monday. Meron kayong medical naman doon.
May I also request the members of the House of Representatives and all our guests in the galleries to please rise to witness the oath-taking of our Deputy Speaker. Kindly raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name
I, Yevgeny Vincente B. Imano,
of,
of the 2nd District, Misamis Oriental,
hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear
that I will faithfully discharge,
that I will faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all others
and all others
I may hereafter hold
I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees
and I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees
duly promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines,
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I impose this obligation
and that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Session suspended.
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, on the part of the majority, I move to nominate and elect the following members to the following committees. To the Committee on Accounts as members, Rhea Gullias and Eduardo Rama. To the Committee on Appropriations as members, Tony Pet Albano, Joboy Aquino, Maria Rachel Arenas, Maria Van Aumentado, Leonel Sinisa, Agatha Aguilar Cruz, Salvador Plato, Antonino Roman III, Jordin Romualdo, Christine Chutor, De Carlo L. Uy, Pinpin Uy, Celso Regencia, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Joseph Kim Yu, Rosemary Panotes, Joseph Bernos, Mark Violago, Antonio Co, Roy Gonzalez, Nelson Legacion, Di Butuan, Binky Tupas, Irene Labad-Labad, City Amina Dimaporo. To the Committee on Agriculture and Food, as Vice Chairperson, Nicanor M. Briones, Vice Alfredo A. Garbin Jr., as members, Antonio Tony Pet Albano, Carl Cari, Loreto Amante, Joboy Aquino II, Rachel Arenas, John Cagas, Dale Corvera, Joseph Tan, Christopherson Coco M. Yap, Celso Regencia, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Rosemary Panotes, City Amina Dimaporo, Joseph Bernos, Antonio Co, Leonel Sinisa, Agatha Cruz, Antonino Roman III, De Carlo L. Uy, Isabel L. Sagarbaria, Mark Violago, Nelson Negacion, Dibo Estuan, Binky Tupas, Irene Labad-Labad, Alfredo A. Gabin Jr. To the Committee on Agrarian Reform as Vice Chairpersons, Doris Maniquis, Emilio Bernardino El Yulo, and Ruth Sakaluran. As members, Samir Tan, Dante Garcia, Salvador Plato, Antonio Co, and Janice Degamo. To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources as Vice Chairpersons, Dale Corvera, Doris Maniquis, Jane Castro, Binky Tupas. As members, Gerardo Espina, Dante Garcia, Amina Dimaporo, Lalo T. Matugas, Adrian Salceda, Ruth Sakaluran, Nelson Legacion. To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries as Vice Chairpersons, Adrian Salceda and Irene Labad-Labad. As members, Edgo Midicua, Ann Matibag, Jesus M. Romualdo, and Zaldi S. Villa. To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture as Vice Chairpersons, Mika Swansing, Antonino Roman III, Nelson Legacion. As members, Josefina Tagliado, Joboy Aquino, Rhea Gulias, Doris Maniquis, Eduardo Rama, Joseph Tan, Amina Dimaporo, Mauricio Domogan, Arturo Robes, Leonel Sinisa, De Carlo L. Uy, Nelson Jayanghirang, Isabel Sagarbaria, Mark Violago, Dibu Tuan, Irene Labad-Labad, Antonio Ferrer. To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation as Vice Chairpersons, Christine Chutor, Nelson Jayanghirang, and Reynaldo Salvacion. To the Committee on Climate Change as Vice Chairpersons, Elisa T. Co. As members, Antonio Tony Pet Albano, John Cagas, Agatha Cruz, Mark Violago. To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments as Vice Chairpersons, Jonathan Keith Flores, Jinky Luistro, Maria Carmen S. Zamora, Mauricio Domogan. As members, Arman Dimagila Jr. To the Committee on Cooperatives Development as Vice Chairpersons, Alana Samantha Talino Santos, Binky Tupas, and Nicanor Briones. As members, Joel Chua, Dante Garcia, Joseph Yu, Janice Degamo, and Isabel Sagarbaria. To the Committee on Drugs, to the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, as members, Janet L. Garin, Zia Adjong, Joel Chua, Jinky Luistro, Patrick Michael Vargas, Christopherson Coco Yap, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Roberto Pinpinti Uy Jr. To the Committee on Disaster Resilience as Vice Chairperson, Ricardo S. Cruz Jr. As members, Zia Adjong, Jose Alba, Jesus M. Romualdo, Agatha Cruz, Joseph Kim Yu. The Committee on Ecology as Vice Chairpersons, Janice Degamo and Irene Labad-Labad. As members, Dale Corvera, Jesus M. Romualdo, Zaldi S. Villa, Jane Castro, Elisa Tico, and Isabel Sagarbaria. To the Committee on Economic Affairs as Vice Chairperson, Salvador Plato, Leandro Legarde Leviste, and Irene Labad-Labad. As members, Janet L. Garin, Jose Manuel F. Alba, Adrian Salceda, Gerald Galang. To the Committee on Energy as Vice Chairpersons, Rachel Arenas, Ann Matibag, Zaldi Villa, Arturo Robes, Joseph Yu, and Reynaldo Salvacion. As members, Antonio Tonipet Albano, Jojo Lara, John Cagas, Jinky Luistro, Jesus M. Romualdo, Erwin Tieng, Baby Aline Vargas Alfonso, Eric Olivares, Miro Kimbo, Antonio Co, Agatha Cruz, Antonino Roman, Adrian Salceda, Nelson Jayanghirang, Isabel Sagarbaria, Marcholo Violago, Roy Gonzalez, and Jill Acosta. To the Committee on Ethics and Privileges as Vice Chairpersons, Dean Asistio and Nelson Legacion. As members, Jojo Lara, Mauricio Domogan, and Roger Mercado. To the Committee on Flagship Programs and Projects as Vice Chairpersons, Joseph Tan, and as members, Wilton Ko, Samir Tan, Doris Maniquis, and Joseph Bernos. To the Committee on Foreign Affairs as members, Antonio Tonipet Albano, Faustino Michael Carlos D. III, Daphne Lagon, Doris Maniquis, Dimple Mastura, Ann Matibag, Aline Vargas Alfonso, Samantha Santos, Georgina De Venecia, Roger Mercado, Joseph Yu, Gerald Galang, and Jill Acosta. To the Committee on Games and Amusements as Vice Chairpersons, Carl Cari, Rachel Arenas, Christopher Sanyap, Rosemary Panotes, Mark Violago, Arnie Fuentebella, Carmelo Lasatin, and as members, Jonathan Keith T. Flores, Antonio Calixto, Dean Asistio, John Cagas, Midi Cua, Ramon Guico, Jesus Romualdo, Joseph Tan, Celso Redencia, Pinpin Uy, Antonio Co, Alisa Mica Gonzalez, De Carlo L. Uy, Joseph Yu, Nelson Dayanghirang, Ruth Sakaluran, Roy Gonzalez, Dibo Estuan, Solomon Chungalao, Mark Enverga, Jose Alvarez, Mercedes Alvarez, Jose Garcia, Florencio Miraflores, and Mark Anthony Santos. To the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability as members, Jonathan Keith Flores, Jojo Lara, Samir Tan, Zia Ajong, and Christopherson Yap, and Ruth Sakaluran. To the Committee on Government, Enterprises, and Privatization as Vice Chairpersons, Vanessa Omentado and Rhea Gulias. As members, Erwin Tieng, Pinpin Uy, and Gerald Galang. To the Committee on Government Reorganization as Vice Chairperson, Loreto Amante, and as members, Jose Alba and Dimple Mastura. To the Committee on Health as Vice Chairpersons, Charis Ansi Hernandez, Arman Dimagila, Mika Gonzalez, Nelson Legacion, Jill Acosta, and as members, Carl Cari, Jerry Boy Espina, Samir Tan, Loreto Amante, John Cagas, Midi Cua, Jesus M. Romualdo, Steve Solon, Celso Regencia, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Mauricio Domogan, Arturo Robes, Leonel Ceniza, Agatha Cruz, Leandro Leviste, De Carlo Uy, Edwin Cruzado, Joseph Yu, Janice Degamo, Isabel Sagarbaria, Gerald Galang, and Binky Tupas. To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education as Vice Chairperson, Steve Solon, Edsel Galeos, Arturo Robes, Mika Gonzalez, and Antonino Roman III. And as members, Tonipet Albano, Jojo Lara, Loreto Amante, Joboy Aquino, John Cagas, Rhea Gulias, Eduardo Rama, Jesus Romualdo, Samantha Santos, Agatha Cruz, Armand Dimagila, Edwin Cruzado, Joseph Yu, Janice Degamo, Nelson Dayanghirang, Gerald Galang, Nelson Legacion, and Dibu Estuan. To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development as Vice Chairperson, Steve Solon, Joseph Yu, Roy Gonzalez, Irene Labad-Labad. As members, Faustino, Carlos T. D. III, Ed Christopher Go, Joel Chua, Jinky Luistro, Lani Mercado Revilla, Joseph Tan, Miro Kimbo, Pinpin Uy, Agatha Cruz, Armand Dimagila, and Gerald Galang. To the Committee on Human Rights as members, Zia Ajong and Jinky Luistro. To the Committee on Indigenous Cultural Communities and Indigenous Peoples as Vice Chairpersons, Edwin Cruzado and Dibu Estuan. As members, Ed Christopher Go and Doris Maniquis. I so move, Madam Speaker.
There is a motion to elect members to their respective committees mentioned. Any objection? Hearing none, said members are hereby elected as Vice Chairperson and members of the respective committees. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, pursuant to Section 5 of Republic Act number 11899, also known as the Second Congressional Commission on Education, I move to designate the following members to the EDCOM 2 as members: Steve Chongbian Salon, Zia Alonta Ajong, and Ana Veloso Tuason. I so move, Madam Speaker.
There is a motion to designate the aforementioned members to the EDCOM 2. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.
Session resume. Majority Leader, please. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to resume the privilege hour.
There's a motion to resume the privilege hour. Any objection? Chair hears none. The privilege hour is therefore resumed. Majority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from 2nd District Province of Pangasinan, the Honorable Mark O. Coanco, to avail the privilege hour.
To the gentleman of the 2nd District of Pangasinan, Representative Mark O. Coanco. You have the floor, sir. Please proceed.
Commending the courage and tactical brilliance of the commander and crew of BRP Suluan. Mr. Speaker, may I ask the technical department to play the video that I have prepared. Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, and to our fellow Filipinos, I rise today on a matter of privilege to speak about the unwavering courage and exceptional skill of our countrymen who serve on the front lines, particularly in the Philippine Coast Guard. While the headlines from the West Philippine Sea are often grim, marked by tension and intimidation by China, a recent report has provided a much-needed breath of fresh air and a moment of intense national pride. This is the story of a Philippine Coast Guard commander and their crew who, during a mission to escort boats delivering aid to Filipino fishermen near Scarborough Shoal, Bajo de Masinloc, faced a dangerous and escalating situation. Their vessel, the BRP Suluan, was aggressively pursued by not one but two foreign ships, a China Coast Guard vessel and a China People's Liberation Army Navy vessel. It was a clear and palpable threat to our sovereignty and to the lives of our courageous servicemen. What unfolded next, Mr. Speaker, was a triumph of seamanship, demonstrating extraordinary coordination and presence of mind. The Philippine Coast Guard commander and crew of the BRP Suluan navigated their vessel with such tactical precision that they not only evaded the pursuing ship, but probably caused the larger China Coast Guard vessel to collide with the nearby PLA Navy warship, turning an act of intimidation into a moment of tactical brilliance. This is not just a tale of successful evasion. It is a testament to the unparalleled skill, professionalism, and quick thinking of our men and women in uniform. It is a powerful reminder that our forces, despite facing a disparity in resources, are not to be underestimated. Their ingenuity and courage are a force to be reckoned with. It stands as proof that the Philippine Coast Guard is not only steadfast in its mission, but is also equipped with leaders and sailors of exceptional capability. This was not mere chance. This was skill honed through years of training, discipline, and love of country. Beyond the strategic implications, Mr. Speaker, we must also acknowledge the sheer brilliance and, yes, the unintentional comic relief this incident provides. In a region where tensions ran high, this commander delivered a moment of levity, a powerful demonstration of the Filipino spirit that can turn a dangerous situation into an almost humorous spectacle. It's a moment that has undoubtedly brought a smile to the faces of many Filipinos, serving as a powerful morale booster and a powerful symbol of our resilience. Mr. Speaker, sa Chinese side, parang Looney Tunes or Keystone Cops na mga cartoons. Sa Filipino side, parang Roadrunner na cartoons. Nakangiti po ako nung pinapanood ko, natatawa. Therefore, I stand before you today to ask that this esteemed body join me in formally commending this Philippine Coast Guard commander. I just discovered his identity, Captain Joe Mark Ange, and the entire crew of the BRP Suluan for their exemplary seamanship and unwavering dedication. Their actions are a credit to the entire Philippine Coast Guard and serve as an inspiration to every Filipino. They are a true embodiment of the courage, ingenuity, and patriotic spirit that defines our nation. Mr. Speaker, China vloggers say we are American puppets and vassals. And yet, on September 16, 1991, when our Senate, in a vote of 12 to 11, just a single vote's difference, asked the Americans to leave, they left. They respected our decision. So why does China insist on using arrogant physical force to try and intimidate us into giving up our territory? Their mentality seems to be, we are economically successful, so you must give in. It is inevitable that you will submit to us. China insists that the cause of American intervention in the region is us. Mr. Speaker, we were already rid of the Americans since 1991. It is China which has caused us to renew our alliance with the Americans again. Mr. Speaker, we must resist the Chinese pressure to occupy our territory. We must draw the line at the Scarborough Shoal, the Bajo de Masinloc. In so doing, it is this representation's prayer and determination that we shall never be subservient to China. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, since there's no interpellators, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Cojuangco to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Any objection? Hearing none, the speech of the Honorable Mark Cojuangco of the 2nd District of Pangasinan is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, before we proceed, may I request that we acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Representative from Northern Samar, 1st District, Representative Nico Raul S.J. Daza. They are the Sangguniang Kabataan chairman from the different barangays of Bobon, Northern Samar, including other local officials from the DILG and the Youth Development Office.
To the guests, the youth and officials of Bobon, Northern Samar, the guests of the Honorable Nico Raul S. Daza of the 1st District of Northern Samar, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, may I also request to recognize the guests of the Honorable Jesus M. Romualdo from the Lone District of Camiguin. They are Dr. Boel Espinas, Ms. Hannah Christie Oclarit, and Ms. Mirasol B. Flores.
To the guests of the Honorable Jardine Jesus Romualdo of the Lone District of Camiguin, welcome to the House of the People. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro City, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, for his privilege hour.
The great man of the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro City, the undefeated wisdom of the 20th Congress, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for those kind words. Our Majority Leader, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to call attention to a pressing concern that affects millions of ordinary Filipino savers. The 20% withholding tax on all types of deposit interest income. While the intent of this policy, Madam Chair, may have been to generate much-needed government revenue, the reality is that for ordinary depositors, particularly low and middle-income families, this tax acts as a disincentive to save and diminishes the already meager returns on their hard-earned money. Last May 29, 2025, Republic Act 12214, or the Capital Markets Efficiency Promotion Act, CMEPA, was enacted into law. While the measure was intended to streamline and standardize the taxation of passive income, it has in effect placed an even heavier burden on the majority of Filipino depositors, whose interest earnings are already minimal, Madam Speaker. And one new provision of the CMEPA is that long-term time deposits in Philippine pesos are now subject to the 20% final withholding tax. According to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, BSP, as of the latest financial inclusion report, only about 56% of Filipino adults have a formal account in a bank or other regulated institution. These are not large. Among these, a significant portion maintain balances of less than 5,000 pesos. These are not large investors. Worse, in times of economic uncertainty, such as during the pandemic, Filipinos turn to their savings for survival. But for many, the growth of those savings had been stunted over the years by this very tax. Instead of encouraging people to keep their money in formal financial institutions where it is safe and traceable, we risk driving them towards informal saving methods, alcancía, boxes, keeping cash at home, or engaging in risky, unregulated investment schemes. This is counterproductive to our nation's goals, Madam Speaker. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas itself has repeatedly emphasized the importance of increasing our domestic savings rate. which remains far below that of our ASEAN neighbors. More savings in banks means greater resources for loans, investments, and economic growth. Yet our tax policy effectively penalizes savers, especially those with the least capacity to bear the burden. Madam Speaker, there is also a fairness issue. Large corporations and wealthy investors have access to diversified financial instruments that can yield higher returns and may even enjoy preferential tax treatments. In contrast, ordinary Filipinos with small bank deposits face the same flat 20% tax rate, regardless of the size of their interest savings. This is a regressive structure that disproportionately impacts the poor and the middle class. In countries such as Singapore and Hong Kong, interest income from savings deposits are not taxed at all. Not taxed at all. That's why there's a big saver group in Singapore and Hong Kong, because there is no tax on interest incomes on savings. Precisely, Madam Speaker, to promote a culture of saving and to strengthen the financial system's liquidity of the said countries. Even among our ASEAN peers, the Philippines stands out for taxing such modest incomes so heavily relative to returns. The CMEPA also removes the tax exemption on interest income from long-term deposits and investments exceeding 5 years. Before the law, they were tax exempt in order to encourage Filipinos to save for the long term. This has led to arguments that removing the tax exemption discourages long-term savings and investment. The thrift banking sector has stated that imposing a 20% tax on long-term deposits could have a negative impact on middle-income savers and, very important, Madam Chair, retirees. They put their money for 5 years or more. Now they will be taxed. All of these savings long-term by retirees. These retirees and middle-income savers often rely on this income to supplement pensions and cover essential expenses such as medical needs. Another possible effect is that it could drive Filipinos to riskier investments which promise higher returns. Therefore, I urge this august chamber to review and amend and remove the 20% tax on savings interest. Or at the very least, we should consider a tiered or exempt threshold so that small depositors, for example, those earning less than 5,000 pesos in annual interest income, where many of our fellow families have deposited. In short-term deposits, 5,000. So it has to be over 5,000 annual income to be taxed. And for the long term, we should allow these retirees to receive whatever money they deposited by having a tiered exemption from these savings taxes, which will be in the long-term deposits should be at least 20,000 income, should be exempt. And so such a reform will encourage financial inclusion, protect low-income savers, and align our policies with our goal of fostering a robust domestic savings culture. Madam Speaker, this is not just about money. It's about fairness. When the small rewards for saving are reduced by an unfair tax, we send the wrong message to our people. Instead, we should build a society where savings are encouraged, not punished, where our banking system grows because every Filipino feels it is worth putting their hard-earned money in a safe and productive place. Madam Speaker, let us now act to give the Filipino saver a fair chance. With that, I end. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, Majority Leader, and my distinguished colleagues.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to refer the speech of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Any objection? Hearing none, the speech of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we close the privilege hour.
Any objection? Hearing none, the privilege hour is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with our rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, I move to refer the following House resolutions to the appropriate committees. House Resolution number 1, to the Committee on Labor and Employment. House Resolution number 2, Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation. House Resolution number 3, Committee on Poverty Alleviation. HR number 10, Committee on Defense, National Defense and Security. HR 13, Committee on Labor and Employment. HR 16, Committee on Local Government. HR 17, Committee on Justice. HR 19, Committee on Transportation. HR 21, Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. HR 22, Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. HR 23, Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. HR number 24, Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. HR number 26, Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. HR number 27, Committee on Revision of Laws. HR 29, Committee on Transportation. HR 30, Committee on Transportation. HR 34, Committee on Health. HR 35, Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. HR number 36, Committee on Housing and Urban Development. HR number 39, Committee on Local Government. HR 40, Committee on Games and Amusements. HR 42, Committee on Games and Amusement. HR 43, Committee on Trade and Industry and Health. HR 46, Committee on Health. HR 53, Committee on Public Order and Safety. HR 54, Committee on Social Services. HR 55, Committee on Health. HR 56, Committee on Public Accounts. HR 57, Committee on Information and Communications Technology. HR number 61, Committee on Higher and Technical Education. HR number 64, Committee on Games and Amusement. HR number 66, Committee on Information and Communications Technology. HR number 70, Committee on Poverty Alleviation. HR 76, Committee on Public Accounts. HR 85, Committee on Health. HR 86, Committee on Labor and Employment. HR 87, Committee on Labor and Employment. HR 89, Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. HR number 96, Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries. HR number 98, Committee on Health. HR number 100, Committee on Health. HR 102, Committee on Games and Amusement. And HR number 108, Committee on Energy.
Any objection? Hearing none, House Resolutions number 1 to 108 are hereby referred to the committee as mentioned by the Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, pursuant to our rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, I move to refer the speech of Representative Rufus B. Rodriguez, delivered on August 5, 2025, to the Committee on Games and Amusements.
Any objection? Hearing none, the said motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I now move for the change of referral of the following measures. House Bill number 132 from the Committee on Tourism to the Committee on Natural Resources. House Bill number 1181 from the Committees of Public Order and Safety and National Defense and Security to the Committees on National Defense and Security and Public Order and Safety. House Bill numbers 1957 and 2518 from the Committee on Health to the Committees on Civil Service and Professional Regulations and Health. House Bill number 2216 from the Committees on Disaster Resilience and Government Reorganization to the Committees on Public Works and Highways and Government Reorganization. House Bills number 1008, 1323, 1917, 2747, 2780, and 2907 from the Committee on Agriculture and Food to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion to change the referral of the measures mentioned earlier is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, on the part of the majority, I move to elect and nominate the following members to the following committees. To the Committee on ICT as members, Rachel Arenas, Dean Asistio, Eduardo Rama, Jola Revilla, Jesus Romualdo, Miro Kimbo, Adrian Salceda. To the Committee on Interparliamentary Relations and Diplomacy as Vice Chairpersons, Maria Carmen Zamora, Janice Degamo, and Irene Labad-Labad. As members, Tony Pet Albano, Josefina Tagliado, Jose Alba, Joboy Aquino, Rachel Arenas, John Cagas, Joel Chua, Jinky Luistro, Eric Olivares, Elisa Co, Joseph Yu, Jel Galang, and Jill Acosta. To the Committee on Justice, as Vice Chairpersons, Keith Flores and Isabel Maria Zamora. As members, Loreto Amante, Joboy Aquino II, Joel Chua, Ernesto Dionisio Jr., Arnan Panaligan, Lord Ansuan, Patrick Michael Vargas, Emerson Pascual, Munir Abison, Janice De Gama, Romeo Acop, Bienvenido M. Abante Jr., Judas Sidre, and Alfredo A. Garbin Jr. To the Committee on Labor and Employment as Vice Chairpersons, Doris E. Maniquis and Emilio Bernardino Yulo. As members, Rachel Arenas, Jinky Luistro, Jaisel Yu, Edsel Galeos, Mauricio Domogan, Roger Mercado, De Carlo Uy, Edwin Cruzado, Janice Degamo, Isabel Sagarbaria, and Reynaldo Salvacion. To the Committee on Legislative Franchises, as Vice Chairpersons, Emery Loli Papuana Dizon, Chino Almario, Antonino Romando III, Wobo Fortes, and as members, Joseph Lara, Joboy Aquino, John Cagas, Midi Cua, Jesus Romualdo, Celso Regencia, Georgina De Venecia, Eric Olivares, Miro Kimbo, Adrian Salceda, De Carlo Uy, Mark Violago, Roy Gonzalez, Nelson Legacion, and Binky Tupas. To the Committee on Local Government, as Vice Chairpersons, Carl Cari, Eduardo Rama, Christopherson Yap, Ramon Nolasco, Antonino Roman III. As members, John Cagas, Joel Chua, Salvador Plato, Joseph Tan, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Zaldi Villa, Rosemary Panotes, Mauricio Domogan, Francisco Matugas, Joseph Bernos, Leonel Ceniza, Mica Gonzalez, Ramil Hernandez, Leandro Leviste, Edwin Cruzado, Reynaldo Salvacion. To the Committee on Metro Manila Development as Vice Chairpersons, Antonino G. Calixto, Eric Olivares, and Gerald Galang. And as members, Joel Chua, Lani Mercado Revilla, Erwin Tieng, Isabel Zamora, and Miro Kimbo. To the Committee on MSME Development as Vice Chairperson, Lordan Suan, Joseph Yu, and Marlesa Hofer Hasim. As members, Wilton Co, Jose Alba, Dante Garcia, Eduardo Rama, Patrick Michael Vargas, and Elisa Co. To the Committee on Mindanao Affairs as Vice Chairpersons, Samir Tan, Celso Regencia, Dibu S. Tuan, Irene Labad-Labad. And as members, Jose Alba, Chino Almario, Amina Di Maporo, Pinpin Uy, Nelson Dayanghiran, and Ruth Sakaluran. To the Committee on Muslim Affairs as members, Samir Tan and Ruth Sakaluran. To the Committee on National Defense and Security as Vice Chairpersons, Jobay Aquino, Jesus Romualdo, Steve Chongbian Solon, Emerson Pascual, Leonel Ceniza. And as members, Jerry Boy Espina, Samir Tan, Dale Corvera, Ernesto Juniso Jr., Jinky Luistro, Salvador Plato, Roger Mercado, Edwin Cruzado, Ruth Sakaluran, Dibu S. Tuan, Binky Tupas, and Jill Acosta. The Committee on Natural Resources as Vice Chairperson, Steve Stolon, Francisco Matugas, Leonel Ceniza, Ramil Hernandez, Binky Tupas, Henry Ominal. As members, Ed Christopher Go, Antonino Calixto, Lani Revilla, Jesus Romualdo, Baby Aline Vargas Alfonso, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Jane Castro, Mauricio Domogan, Mica Gonzalez, Ruth Sakaluran, Mark Violago, Reynaldo Salvacion, and Jill Acosta. To the Committee on North Luzon Growth Quadrangle as Vice Chairpersons, Jojo Lara, Dante Garcia, and Mon Nolasco. As members, Tony Pet Albano, Ed Christopher Go, Georgina De Venecia, and Joseph Bernos. To the Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs as Vice Chairpersons, Joboy Aquino II, Sancho Fernando Ando Ominal, Salvador Plato, and as members, Rosemary Panotes, Reynaldo Salvacion. To the Committee on People's Participation as Vice Chairperson, Emery Oano Dizon and Patrick Michael Vargas. As members, Doris E. Maniquis and Irene Labad-Labad. The Committee on Population and Family Relations as Vice Chairperson, Daphne Lagon, and as members, Ed Christopher Go and Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The Committee on Poverty Alleviation as Vice Chairpersons, Edsel Galeos and Eric Yap. As members, Rosemary Panotes and Irene Labad-Labad. To the Committee on Public Accounts as member, Carl Cari, Jonathan Keith Flores, Wilton Co, Jojo Lara, Jinky Luistro, Antonio Co, Leonel Senisa, and Arman Dimagila. To the Committee on Public Order and Safety, as members, Carl Cari, Jonathan Keith Flores, Zia Adjong, Joboy Aquino, Dean Asistio, Jinky Luistro, Salvador Plato, Jesus Romualdo, Christopher Sonyap, Celso Regencia, Francisco Matugas, Leonel Senisa, Arman Dimagila, Ramil Hernandez, and Ruth Sakaluran. To the Committee on Public Works and Highways as Senior Vice Chairperson, Eleandro Jesus F. Madrona, and as Vice Chairpersons, Salvador Plato, Antonio Co, Mon Nolasco, Mika Gonzalez, and Nicanor Briones. As members, Tony Pet Albano, Jerry Boy Espina, Josefina Taliado, Joboy Aquino, Dante Garcia, Christopher Sonyap, Celso Regencia, Zaldi Villa, Edsel Galeos, Rosemary Panotes, Mauricio Domogan, Pinpin Uy, Joseph Bernos, Agatha Cruz, Arman Demagila, De Carlo Uy, Edwin Cruzado, Nelson Dayanghirang, Isabel Sagarbaria, Ruth Sakaluran, Mark Violago, Gerald Galang, Roy Gonzalez, Dibu Estuan, Irene Labad-Labad, and Reynaldo P. Salvacion. To the Committee on Revision of Laws as Vice Chairperson, Mon Nolasco and Arman Dimagila. To the Committee on Rural Development as Vice Chairperson, Nelson Legacion, and as members, Dante Garcia, Amina Dimaporo, Nelson Dayanghirang, Binky Tupas, and Irene Labad-Labad. To the Committee on Science and Technology as Vice Chairpersons, Chino Almario, Mika Gonzalez, and Joseph Yu. As members, Maria Aumentado and Roger Mercado. To the Committee on Senior Citizens as Vice Chairpersons, Loreto Amante and Gerald Galang. As members, John Cagas, Dale Corvera, and Baby Aline Vargas Alfonso. To the Committee on Social Services as Vice Chairpersons, Janice Degamo and Amado Bolilia IV. As members, Josefina Taliado, Jinky Luistro, Ann Matibag, Celso Regencia, Edsel Galeos, Eric Olivares, Nelson Dayanghirang, Isabel Sagarbaria, Mark Violago, Nelson Legacion, and Dibu Estuan. To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms as Vice Chairperson, Tony Pet Albano, and as members, Ann Matibag, Isabel Zamora, Munir Arbison, De Carlo Uy, and Antolin Oreta III. To the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals as Vice Chairperson, Gerald Galang, and as member, Wilton Co. To the Committee on Tourism as Vice Chairpersons, Samantha Santos, Zaldi Villa, Elisa Co, Roy Gonzalez, Dibo Estuan, Jill Acosta, and James Jojo Ang. As members, Jerry Boy Espina, Ed Christopher Go, Josefina Taliado, Loreto Amante, Dale Corvera, Rhea Gulias, Daphne Lagon, Jesus Romualdo, Christopher Sonyap, Celso Regencia, Rosemary Panotes, Jane Castro, Antonio Co, Ramon Nolasco, Agatha Cruz, Mika Gonzalez, Janice Degamo, Mark Violago, and Binky Tupas. To the Committee on Trade and Industry as members, Ed Christopher Go, Antonino Calixto, Erwin Tieng, Jaisal Victoria Yu, Roger G. Mercado, and Miro Esquimbo. To the Committee on Transportation as Vice Chairpersons, Emerson Pascual, Francisco Mantugas, Antonio Co, De Carlo Uy, Nelson Dayanghirang, Nelson Legacion, and James Jojo Ang. As members, Jojo Lara, Samir Tan, Dina Sisio, Joel Chua, Midi Kua, Ernesto Andonicio, Charissa Ansi Hernandez, Bay Dimple Mastura, Salvador Plato, Joel Revilla III, Jesus M. Romaldo, Joseph Tan, Erwin Tieng, Baby Aline Vargas Alfonso, Rosemary Panotes, Roger Mercado, Agatha Cruz, Antonino Roman III, Adrian Salceda, Roy Gonzalez, and Pinky Tupas. To the Committee on Veterans Affairs and Welfare as Vice Chairperson, Marilyn Primicias Agabas and Dibu Estuan. To the Committee on Visayas Development as Vice Chairpersons, Carl Cari, Janet Garin, and Janice Degamo. As members, Jerry Boy Espina, Christine Chutor, Maria Vanessa Aumentado, and Zaldi Villa. To the Committee on Ways and Means, as Vice Chairpersons, Agatha Cruz. As member, Jerry Boy Espina, Rachel Arenas, Joe Chua, Jinky Luistro, Salvador Plato, Lord Ansuan, Zaldi Villa, Roger Mercado, Agatha Cruz, Armand Dimagila, Mika Gonzalez, Antonino Roman III, and Irene Labad-Labad. To the Committee on Welfare of Children, as Vice Chairpersons, Ann Matibag, Amina Dimaporo, Pinpin Uy, Giselle Maceda, and as members, Daphne Lagon, Agatha Cruz, Edwin Cruzado, Catherine Goriseta, Roman Romulo, Rebecca Inares. To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, as Vice Chairpersons, Josefina Talyado, Amina Dimaporo, and Catherine Goriseta. As members, Janet Garin, Midi Kua, Jinky Luistro, Dimple Mastura, Victoria Yu, and Agatha Cruz. To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development, as Vice Chairpersons, Carl Cari, Steve Solon, Nelson Dayanghirang, Antonio Tonipet Albano, Wilton Co, Loreto Amante, Charis Hernandez, Doris Maniquis, Erwin Tieng, Edsel Galeos, Amina Dimaporo, Roger Mercado, Pinpin Uy, Ramil Hernandez, Joseph Yu, Catherine Goriseta, Gerald Galang, Brian Yamsuan, and Luigi Villafuerte. To the Special Committee on West Philippine Sea, Vice Chairperson Doris Maniquis, and as member, Arnan Panaligan. To the Special Committee on Basis Conversion, as Vice Chairperson, Marilyn Primicia Sagabas, and as members, Doris E. Maniquis, Mauricio Domogan, Alisa Mica Gonzalez, and Mark Violago. To the Special Committee on Bicol Affairs and Economic Development, as Vice Chairperson, Nelson Legacion, and as member, Elisa Co and Antonio Co. To the Special Committee on Creative Industries, as Vice Chairperson, Midi Kua and Charis Ann Hernandez. As members, Lani Mercado Revilla, Patrick Vargas, Georgina De Venecia, and Francisco Barzaga. To the Special Committee on Food Security, as members, Lani Revilla, Joseph Bernos, Catherine Goricheta, Jerry Perez, Rudy Kawagdagan. To the Special Committee on Land Use, as member, Raman A. Nava. And to the Special Committee on Nuclear Energy, as Vice Chairpersons, Jerry Boy Espina, Daphne Lagon, Miro Kimbo, Antonino Roman III, Roy Gonzalez. To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities, as Vice Chairperson, Ann Matibag, and as member, Jane Castro. To the Special Committee on Reforestation, as Vice Chairperson, Dante Garcia, and as members, Jane Castro and Nelson Dayanghirang. To the Special Committee on Southern Tagalog Development, as Vice Chairpersons, Roy Gonzalez, Nicanor Briones, and Edwin Guardiola. As members, Lani Revilla. To the Special Committee on Strategic Intelligence, as members, Ana York Bondok and Francisco Barzaga. I so move, Madam Speaker.
Any objection? Hearing none, the members mentioned in the respective committees as Vice Chairperson and members are hereby elected. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, for clarification, the election to the following members to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development are, as member, Tony Pet Albano, Wilton Co, Loreto Amante, Charis Hernandez, Doris Maniquis, Erwin Tieng, Edsel Galeos, Amina Dimaporo, Roger Mercado, Pinpin Uy, Ramil Hernandez, Joseph Yu, Catherine Goricheta, Gerald Galang, Brian Yamsuan, and Luigi Villafuerte. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, said motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no business left for the day, I move to adjourn session until Monday, the 18th of August, 3 p.m. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, session is adjourned until Monday, August 18, 2025 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.